Hello and welcome back to Elo Hell's Get Good tournament in the NA side of the pond, season 4.5, where we're still watching the OK State Rattlers versus Flight of the Valkyries. I will once more be our play-by-play caster, Belly W. With me is the, as I mentioned before, illustrious and very knowledgeable Kenobi. I like illustrious. I don't know.
Illustrious is it's a
That's
very good Scrabble word.
yeah, it's great. I don't know how many points. I've played Scrabble like 3 times.
I'm very bad at Scrabble, so I don't know. I'm about those like 3-letter, 2-letter words. The no's, the it's. That's
If we could get a quiz in there,
yeah.
then
Oh, quiz is just like that's my go-to. That's my ace in the hole.
is exit quiz a word? Because then I think I'll
Exit's
win.
another good one though.
Yeah, it's exit quiz. It's fine. But yes, we were watching the OK State Rattlers versus Flight of the Valkyries. OK State Rattlers so far with a 1-0 lead on Ilios. And you mentioned Fuzzball just before the break with some very good anti-nades. I want to also mention Dongodong with two Graviton Surge each on the Diva. So some good players on both sides that can provide some individual skill to the table.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Dongodong eat those 2 Gravitons, and I wanna see that transferred over to eating some of those anti-nades because right now Diva and I guess this also falls onto the Reinhardt a little bit where you can block some of the incoming damage with that or incoming nades with your shield, but something has to change, especially if they're gonna continue to run the Moira because the Moira with the team that's anti-healed is just kind of doesn't do anything. You're able to pump out some sort of damage per second, but you're really just there to heal and farm your coalescence, and if you aren't able to heal your team, which Moira is basically a character that is just essentially a heal bot and a damage bot, 2 in 1. But that's where I would like to see uh, Flight of the Valkyries just fix it up just a little bit more. That's probably the biggest thing that I saw in terms of their play that was really detrimental to them.
Oh, there we are. Apologies, some technical difficulties. But yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Now, looking at what we will possibly be seeing, do we have some information on that yet? We are switching sides. Next map is Havana. Okay, so we've seen how these teams played on Ilios, but Control, we tend to know like that's kind of like a you're kind of feeling out. It's also the first
Yeah.
map. It's usually the thing where you say like, yeah, it's a warm-up map and blah blah blah. So we get into
Right.
Havana. We've seen a bit of the Fire Mercy already. We've also seen the Ash, which I kind of like because who's not a fan of Bob?
Yeah.
Um, would you expect that Fire Mercy to come back or the Ash to come back in return?
I think it definitely Flight of the Valkyries could play it a little bit more because the best that they looked on Ilias was when they played the Pharah, and it seemed like okay, State Rattlers didn't really have a way to counter the Pharah and really deal with it besides making some nice rotations, which I saw. But Ash really isn't the best pick at the current moment to deal with. Pharah in the air. I'd like to see something maybe like a Widowmaker or McCree, a little bit more sustained damage because Ash really is meant for usually Ash in this kind of in the way she's just in a really bad spot right now. But when you really are getting value from Ash, you're farming Bob quickly against these teams. You're using Dynamite as well. So I would prefer to see something like a McCree, even a Soldier at this point, to try and just put some pressure on that Pharah because Flight of the Valkyrie, FOTV rather, they were the best when they were using the pharmacy composition, and I would like to see them use it a little bit more, especially on Havana where you can see it be run.
You can definitely see it be run, especially first point. You tend to see it a fair bit.
Mhm.
We saw unknowns on the soldier for just a bit on a lighthouse, as we had FOTV on the Pharmacy again, or at the very least on the Farah.
Mhm.
But it seemed that the Diva and Soldier were kind of dealing with that, so maybe that's gonna kind of drive them off of trying that again. But maybe they're expecting the Zarya to come back. Like, I'd be interested to see the Zarya come back. I like the Ryan Zarya
Yeah.
combo, but it didn't really work out for them so far.
Yeah, I mean, I like it too a lot with because I mean, I Twitch chat's gonna hate me, but I really liked goats when it was a thing, and I really like Ryan Zara as a tank composition. I think Diva's in the meta right now because Diva is really, really over 3-second boosters is a really big change and a really important change that makes her her survivability just goes way up because you can get in and get out pretty safely in 3 seconds. So I think that's why we're seeing her a little bit more than we're seeing Zarya. But Zarya, if we're going to be seeing the Zarya again from OK State Rattlers, we need to see Gravitons getting value because they were eaten twice. We didn't actually see a Graviton go off. So that would be the one thing that if the Zarya comes back, we need to figure out a way to negate Diva eating it. Either we burst the Diva out of her mech first or we freeze her and then use the Graviton, things like that.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before. Indeed, you got to deal with the diva
Hmm.
to get the grav out, and that really didn't happen. But your stance on goats, like, I don't really disagree. And the primary issue from my end is if you watch only goats over and over and over again,
Yeah.
it does become a bit stale. But I do agree, goats kind of had some interesting things to
I
it.
thought it was fun. I mean, it was
Yeah.
the when I first started casting Overwatch in general, like that was the first composition that really was rising to prominence at the time. So I casted like almost only goats, and so I'm very familiar with that composition, and I liked it a lot. And there have been some other compositions that we played with. The Doomfist Reaper, I actually started liking towards
Mhm.
the back end. I liked when we were the May Reaper. That was the one where I like really didn't like that much because I thought it was like in Sigma Orisa, like that was the one where I was like, okay, I'm starting to not really like this that much, but then it started evolving, and I think the current meta we're actually in now, I like a lot more than what we've had in the past. I'm starting to,
Five,
really
four,
get a feel for it, and I'm
three,
really enjoying what I'm
two,
seeing, especially in like
one.
things like Overwatch League. I really
Attackers
like it,
incoming.
and I'm just very excited for
Stop
what the
the
meta is going to bring us in the future and in this current game. Because that's another thing we talked about, right? We said at the start, like, oh, they're going to be only playing comfort picks, right? But then
Yeah.
they are starting to play meta, so it's
Mhm.
interesting. It's interesting to see how this meta is played in a lower level, right? Like, how are these compositions working with each other?
Yeah, like, do they really understand how these compositions blend together and what parts of the machine connect to which cogs?
Right.
It's a really interesting thing to see happening in the lower brackets. The thing to keep in mind, it is gitgud season 4.5, and we only have team sign up, so it can be pre-made teams without coaching.
Mhm.
They seem to very much be aware of the meta, seem to also play cohesively in the sense that would, for me, kind of allude to the fact that they both have a coach, which is cool. Like, do that. Get in a team, get a coach.
Right.
It's great fun. That's kind of how everyone feels like the game should be played.
Yeah.
But then you get these fun metas in these lower brackets. It's yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what I again with like the conversation of how we're going to see these compositions work out. Like, are we going to be seeing more of the rush style? Are we going to see dive? That's another option. Like, is Havana going to be a double sniper map? We're gonna have to see, what they bring to the table.
We will have to see that as we seem to have some issues here with
Technical
the
issues.
feed. Yes, okay. I am now seeing that first point has definitely been capped.
Oh,
So that is unfortunate. But yes, so we have OK State Rattlers now moving on through with the payload through first point. Um,
we're getting right into it. It looks like
we
so.
are getting right into it.
So already capped first, so that means that we were just talking and the game has been going
Yep.
on. It's okay. We're gonna get right back into it, Billy. And it looks like Dr. Gotno is back on that Zarya, has this Graviton ready, and now we have to ask the questions to ourselves. Is this going to be Are we finally gonna get to see a Graviton surge in this map?
We might see a Gravity Surge this map. It's a Blizzard that we are at least seeing first. Lunica already getting frozen up. A nice lead onto the May that is Chiz. But his Blizzard is gonna get a nice pick. And both shadows coming on through. We have a Nano Runner still going ape a bit. Shrimpy picking up another kill, but now with two to back him up, we have Tarangula trying to pick up the kill on the Reinhardt. Now a bit out of position to charge, just put him in an unadvantageous position. OK State Rattlers trying to pull back as Flight of the Valkyries are trying to pick up a few more kills.
And I like the idea at the start there from Flight of the Valkyries, where they were using that May Blizzard to try and section off some of the members and make sure that the Diva wasn't in a position to eat that Blizzard or eat that Graviton rather. But unfortunately, OK State Rattlers had ultimates of their own, and it kind of just devolved into an ultimate fight that Flight of the Valkyries ended up winning. Or rather, OK State Rattlers, they've also switched sides. That is another thing that we forgot to mention, but it is going to be OK State Rattlers who are coming in on this defense. And again, the Graviton is ready for Dr. Gano. Is he going to get the value belt?
We're gonna have to wait for it to do. No, Dongo Dong is gonna eat the Graviton once again. No Graviton for you as Unknowns comes in with the visor, picking up two for his own, but Dongo Dong with the counter bomb, picking up both of the supports from Flight of the Valkyries. No more healing available. OK State Rattlers will still hold on to the point.
And I guess they don't even need the Graviton belly, as Dr. Gotno going to be switching over to the Diva. He's realized that Zarya not really working out that well. It's just Lunik here on this cart trying to sustain as much as they can. Chiz is coming back, and actually the respawns are not that badly far away for FOTV here, but OK Rattlers are just trying to get these kills and trying to push this into the second point.
Seeing some okay a focus fire coming on through as the Diva gets frozen up once more. We only have the Lucio available, but not for long, and the payload will now start moving to get the point capped.
So we have the point capped here. Flight of the Valkyrie is going to have a hefty time bank actually moving into Havana. Havana we always know as one of these maps where it's very hard to just complete in general, and moving into this third point with 3 minutes, that's a pretty nice time bank. Both teams have this Blizzard available to them. The only difference is that there is the sound barrier going to be here for Jay Ripper, but that's a huge shatter though.
It's a huge shatter, 4 people on the floor, but the counter shatter finding 2 for his own, so no real follow-up value as Shrimpy is now solo that is going to get taken out. We have the sound barrier that got invested, but once more we see those beautiful anti-nades coming on through. A lot of damage that you can start doing, but it's not enough. Flight of the Valkyries are still going to hold on to the payload for now.
It looked so good for OK State Rattlers after that shatter, but the follow-up just wasn't there, and unfortunately, after the re-engage from Flight of the Valkyries, Swamp Monster's sound barrier just a little bit too late, and Shrimpy went down, so a little bit of miscommunication there and mistimed ultimates.
Well, what is not mistimed is the top wall there to get the Shrimpy just ever a bit out of position, but the Blizzard to just finish it off once more as OK State Rattlers are going to push on with their attack.
K-State Rattlers looking pretty good after that ultimate combination. Jarepa still has this sound barrier, and the Moira is going to also have this coalescence. So in terms of sustained ults and support ultimates, Flight of the Valkyries have a really huge advantage here, Belly, and it should benefit them to win this next fight.
It should absolutely, as there the coalescence already comes on through. A lot of pushing power now available for Flight of the Valkyries. The wall to try and wall off someone. We've got someone running off to the side. It is Unknowns who's going to get taken down. So OK State Rattlers with 5 running back to spawn.
And it's going to be a very scary position again still for OK State Rattlers as they're moving into this next fight. They have ultimates that they're going to be able to use, like the sound barrier, or like the sound barrier, or not the sound barrier, like the self-destruct, and they're going to have the shatter, which is a combination that we've seen so far in Overwatch. But there's the self-destruct, both of them at the same time.
And at the same time, we're going to have to see which one gets the value. It's Dr. Gotno with one with the bomb and one with the remake as the shatter comes through. Lunikid trying to pull this one back. A nice speed boost to let the Reinhardt get a lot of value, and he does. As Flight of the Valkyries will look like to still hold on to this point. Dr. Dongodong is going to get demeched, however, but Dr. Gotno walled off ever so slightly. It's still running around in the back line, also going to lose their own mech as Dongodong is going to get theirs back once again. OK State Rattlers are trying to hold on to this.
Yeah, and they're trickling into this point with some kills here, and it's 1-1. The trades are in favor, but there's the Blizzard there from Chiz to negate a lot of the pushing power from OK State Rattlers. And now with 30 seconds left, Belly, this is the last fight that OK State Rattlers are going to be able to get here. We've lost Belly. Belly, you are in mute land at the current moment.
I am indeed in mute land as the shadow comes on through. I do apologize. Shrimpy picking up another kill. The sound barrier is not used there, as we have the remake coming in from Dr. Gotno. A lot of trying to get back to the point here. Unknown's just shooting from the top of the payload, Kenobi.
And this is not good for Flight of the Valkyries here. They have no ultimates to work with. The Coalescence, the closest one. And for OK State Rattlers, they have a ton to work with. They have the Shatter, and they have the Nano and the Tac Visor as well.
Got so much. That is where the attack visor comes in. The Shatter, unfortunately, does not find anything. It gets blocked. The Nano, however, now onto the Reinhardt. Gets him so much value already, picking up 2. We've got a lot of trades coming in. Lunikir dropping so low. And we have the sleep onto Turangalila. Only the Diva left on the payload overtime. Still such a fickle counter. The bomb now. The shield will keep everyone safe, as will the payload. The stragglers will come on through. That is where the stagger comes in. The May will be available to do a lot of staggering here, as well as
that's a big blizzard.
The blizzard is so huge. Everyone will get frozen up and just stand on the payload. 2 picks already taken as the sound barrier comes on through. And Kenobi, it looks like this is where it ends for the OK State Rattlers.
The respawns are way too close here for Flight of the Valkyries to really lose this one. And OK State Rattlers, they have to start getting some picks, but they just aren't going to be able to do so. I think this is going to be stopped right here, just short of the end.
OK State Rattlers still being alive with 3 people. Somehow the Shatter picks up everyone. Already 2 kills coming on through. Sound barrier is gonna be used from J Rapper. Everyone's staying alive for just a bit longer, but not long enough. And we have OK State Rattlers still pushing this. The charge onto Lunikir is gonna deny that nice stagger that Hammond can do. The payload is moving once again, as we only see Amora trying to do whatever they can. The Coalescence invested, the Doomfist swap coming on through, trying to stay alive on the point. Payload still moving, and they're gonna cap it.
Well, Belly, looks like I have successfully caster cursed Flight of the Valkyries, so they're not going to be happy with me because I thought that was completely over, but Shrimpy must have heard me through the ether and said, no, this round is not over. We're capping this point. Comes back with a huge Shatter that puts all of FOTV on their backs. And off of the back of those picks and the follow-up from that Shatter, OK State Rattlers were able to cap Havana, which, as we know, one of the hardest things to do in Overwatch. Didn't cap it with time, but capping it just in general is a pretty hefty prize for them.
Has a pretty steep hill to climb, and I'm not gonna let you take all the flack. I was on the same boat, saying that OK State Rattlers probably had the end of their push, which would have been a good push, but somehow.
Yeah, I mean, the Shatter was really what happened. It looked like Dongodong had done a really good job of stalling that cart on the Diva, where they hit the self-destruct. The Baby Diva was able to escape alive, and then they were able to remech and get that 600 health back to continue to sustain and let those defensive respawns come back in. But again, Shrimpy coming back in with that Shatter because the FOTV, no Reinhardt on that team when they switched to the Hammond to try and stall that. So it was a free Shatter as Shrimpy came back, and that's really what won them that fight.
It's absolutely what won them the fight. Now, I'm seeing Dr. Gotno teasing that they're trying the Zarya once again, and it's not.
Okay, I want to. At one point in the series, he needs to hit a grab. There needs to be a grab that like actually gets thrown. He can like throw it anywhere, he can just throw it up in the air, just as long as it's not eaten by the Diva, then I'm fine with it.
I mean, if he hits a 6-man, it's gonna be so satisfying, and everyone's going to be excited for it. As we have Flight of the Valkyries now pushing the payload forward. The bubble onto Shrimpy is gonna give the Zarya a bit of charge while way in the backline, but Lunikir with a nice fire strike is gonna open up the fight early with a pick onto Unknown's. Payload not moving anymore. They left that one behind so far, Kenobi.
Yeah, they're not really, the payload's actually moving back here, so that means they're gonna win this fight, but they're not really gonna get the value out of moving that cart. If they had stayed on if they had like one person move on the cart, they would have been towards this second curve right here, but they're pushing the entirety of OK State Rattlers back into their spawn, so I like the aggressive play here. Just would have liked to have seen Lucia go back onto the cart just a little bit sooner.
Nice aggressive coalescence that came through, as well as we still have Lunikir here right up front. OK State Rattlers trying to group up to take the point back. We've got stretched out just to the side, taking a lot of damage. Both Fastball and him are getting taken down, and OK State Rattlers still on the back foot. Payload still moving.
Yeah, an interesting decision here to bring out this Junkrat, as we're going to see J-Repa really having a fun game right now, just sitting on the payload and moving it into the spawn. He might be just checking Twitter right now or something because he's got not much else to do.
I mean, someone has to have payload duty, as I hear the bomb going off, doesn't really find anything. And they give another nice fire strike, as we have OK State Rattlers now taking up a more aggressive position, but the point has already been capped. So Flight of the Valkyries is still pushing on forward, Kenobi.
And OK State Rattlers, Dr. Gotno has the Graviton Surge, and the question we have to ask ourselves again, Belly, is he going to be able to hit this grab, or is it going to be eaten?
Dr. Dong is going to be looking for it already. Here in the backline, that's not where the shadow comes on through. Lunikid dropping very low with the nano on the right as well. They're gonna infest the sound barrier too, and the tire as a third one. That is a lot of investment, but it looks like they are pushing in on this fight and possibly getting the victory.
Yeah, interesting that we're going to be seeing Schwarzschild continue to play this Junkrat and not go to something like a Mei, because Junkrat really doesn't do... well, there we go. He's going to be going to the Mei. Mei, a little bit better at brawling in these close areas, in close enclosed areas like this point, the second point on Havana, whereas Junkrat likes to be a little bit more back towards the action and just shooting those grenades as best as he can. But there's a lot of shielding and damage mitigation from Flight of the Valkyries on their team.
There's a lot of it, as we already have the D.Va going in aggressive. Like you're going to the payload, we have the...
Hey!
That is the grab, and it came on through the pickup too. But the counter Blizzard to freeze everyone on up is going to make sure that they're still not going to get the value that they were looking for. The Wallace, the last-ditch effort to do anything unknown is going to use the high noon to demec Dongadong, but again, it's not enough, Kenobi.
I mean, at least he hit the Graviton this time, though. That's really what we gotta... That's really what we tip our hat to. And like here, that OK State Rattlers, or rather Flight of the Valkyries, are going to be pushing up aggressive onto OK State Rattlers, not letting them go back to their spawn and regroup. So they might not get a chance to take a full fight here on this last payload this last point here, the second point on the payload. They're going to try to be able to do so, but Flight of the Valkyries have ultimates to work with.
They have a fair amount of ultimates to work with, as we have the tanks try to contest, and that is now where the contest comes on through. The Reinhardt, however, got walled off, not available to help his team. So almost ready to take it up, and the Shatter finds basically everyone. 3 kills for Shrimpy. That is OK State Rattlers finally taking a stand. They're not letting this point get capped, and this is them now standing on the... putting the flag here in the ground. Yeah, someone really has
to look at Shrimpy here, because there's no way that he should be getting... I mean, he's getting all of these huge shatters, and it's moments where Lunikir is being a little bit too over aggressive and letting Shrimpy get behind his position and shoot that and shatter past the shield that's not even really there, so it's the freest shatter of his life. So someone's really got to check Shrimpy.
Now ready with 47 on the bar. Looking like he's looking for the next one. The anti-nade once again hitting so many. Fuzzball looking strong with that. The Blizzard now to create a lot of space. There's a Death Blossom going on in the backline that doesn't really find anything. So almost is just gonna take the Reaper down, as once again OK State Rattlers are just pushing so aggressively on Flight of the Valkyries.
Really well played though from Schwarzschild with that Mei Blizzard. He saw the rotation coming out from Flight of the Valkyries and knew they were all grouped up, knew that the D.Va wasn't in a position to eat that Blizzard, so he throws it down and is able to get a ton of value off of it. So OK State Rattlers putting up a pretty hefty defense here, and Flight of the Valkyries may only get 1 or 2 more shots at this offense. Chiz is very close towards their own Blizzard, and that might be the win condition here, but that's a huge ante at the start from OK State Rattlers.
They're going to invest a sound barrier for both of the teams as well to keep everyone alive. Simultaneous bombs, both of them taking out 1 kill each.
Now the Shatter!
The high ground. The Shatter does find Chiz. Tarangalila also on the floor. 2 picks once again for Shrimpy, going aggressive. Dongadong trying to just deal with the McCree on the high ground, but now with the only one left, it's not going to be able to do much.
We have here 44 seconds left for Flight of the Valkyries. They get this one last shot because the respawns are so far away that they won't be able to get one recontest after that. Coalescence available to them, and Chiz has this Blizzard. It has to get some value. It can't be eaten here by Dr. Gotno, and Dr. Gotno, as we've seen, knows a lot about ultimates getting eaten by divas.
So maybe he's learned enough for that one. You can have to wait it out to go.
He ate it!
That is where the eat comes on through. Dr. Gutno getting the value that he was looking for. Now Lunakir with a shatter of his own. Shrimpy taken down. He's not going to be able to get that counter shatter up. Dongodong picking up 2. Not happy that their team's Blizzard got eaten, and they're still going to push on through OK State Rattlers with just a few trying to stack it out. It's not looking like they will do for a long time.
Unfortunately there, Shrimpy getting a little bit too over-aggressive and big for his britches after the after the Blizzard was eaten there from Dr. Gotno, and Lunakir was able to get a free shatter onto the backline. A possible recontest can happen here, but they're just not going to be able to do it. Very close, but just at the last second aren't able to do so, and now 1 minute and 30 seconds left for Flight of the Valkyries to take this to that 3rd point.
As we already mentioned, that is one difficult one to do, as we have OK State Rattlers in a great position to get a lot of push power done. Flight of the Valkyries pushing a bit, pulling a bit back as the payload keeps on rolling forward. We have Shrimpy here, Triangulila actually trying to flank around a bit. Now the wall comes in. They're going to try to keep Shrimpy alive with that nano that is coming on through, going aggressive once more. The shatter gets enough on the floor to get that value. With Lunakir already taken down, the Sandbar to keep everyone alive. A bomb in the backline is gonna pick up 2. Both supports down. Triangulila is gonna follow it up as Flight of the Valkyries once again with the huge diva plays gonna keep pushing that payload.
And that was really well played from Chiz there, Belly. Chiz, he walled the Reinhardt off once the self-destruct was going, and then once the Reinhardt had to turn, he froze the Reinhardt and killed him so that there was no shielding available for that backline, and the self-destruct was able to get a ton of value there. And now, coming into this 3rd point here, we have Blizzards for both of these teams. The only difference is that Jarepa has this sound barrier, so more sustain for Flight of the Valkyries here.
Gonna be able to push nice and hard. This wall just ever so slightly not getting a Shrimpy out of position. The high noon from the backline. Both of the Blizzards have been invested. This is now where we hear the Sound Barrier coming on through, but the wall is going to deny that healing.
Oh, big shatter.
It's enough. The shatter is indeed used. The bomb now in the backline. Will it find anything? It will not. The remake will come on through, and now it's going to be a stagger fight for the OK State Rattlers already. A few down. The Coalescence invested as well. This is cleanup time, and it's going to be staggering time for the OK State Rattlers, Kenobi.
OK State Rattlers don't have any ultimates to work with. It's just going to have to be Shrimpy who has this has the shatter. We've seen him hit huge shatters before, but are they even going to be able to make it onto the point? They do just at the last second.
Just at the last second, it's now on Shrimpy to hit that huge shatter, which is done.
Oh!
That is on the floor, but the Death Blossom in the backline is going to make sure that there's no follow-up. Flight of the Valkyries are going to get the full push as well.
Somehow, both of these teams have completed Havana, one of the harder maps to complete in Overwatch. Both of them completed with overtime, so that means we're going to have a minute for both of these teams each to push it as far as possible, and their point A's seem to have gone pretty quick for both of these teams.
It did seem to go pretty well for both of these teams. A nice hold for OK State Rattlers on that 2nd point there.
We're going to be seeing... I wonder what these teams are going to bring out. I assume... I wonder why it would be anything different than what they've been continuing to run, but maybe I would like to see if we're going to be seeing Schwarzschild, rather, if he's going to be continuing to play that Junkrat. I personally, not the biggest fan of it. I'm more of a fan of his Mei, which it looks like he's going to be bringing out. And for the defensive Flight of the Valkyries, sticking with what they've known best in their composition that they've been running pretty much the entire time so far. And this time, the thing I've liked about what Flight of the Valkyries have been doing is they've been not letting Fuzzball get as much value with these Ananades. It seems like they're not getting really pigeonholed by those Ananades getting so much value as we've seen so far in that previous control map.
That's very much the case. I'm also seeing that Dr. Gotno this time opting to not go for the Zarya pick to start out with.
He did hit a grab, though. He did hit one.
That is, so you got your value, you can now swap to the Diva.
Yeah, you've made your point. Zarya can hit grabs.
That is a thing that she can definitely do. OK State Rattlers coming out from spawn, just looking to wall something off as they find out that OK State Rattlers coming from the back to spawn door. Now both of the walls coming on through, and a huge brawl on the point. Lunakir already frozen up, is gonna get healed, is gonna make it out. We've got players for both teams on any side. Triangulila is gonna pick up the first one here as the charge comes through. Lunakir straight on against the point. We've got OK State Rattlers looking a bit low as Flight of the Valkyries is going so aggressive here. Dr. Cotton almost out of mech, is not really going to get taken up. A freeze onto Shrimpy, and that is once again Flight of the Valkyries holding on to this point for now.
And I really like this aggressive play from Flight of the Valkyries, taking it to the spawn of OK State Rattlers and milking off as much time as possible. Fuzzball's going to go down with 7 seconds left. That means that it's going to be one last recontest for OK State Rattlers. They can't even get onto the point. They're walled off.
Walled off, though. We have Dr. Cotton managing to get there on the Diva. So we have a Shrimpy as well, once again, with this Shatter available. A wall off for Lunik here is going to get him out of position just a bit. That's when a Shatter, Tarangalila down, but the Blizzard to counter it. Will that be enough? The bomb is going to be big. It picks up 2. That is where the trace coming through, but Fuzzball not letting go just yet. And the Shatter picks up 3 as well from Lunik here. Fuzzball is going to get taken up. No, he's not going to. He's going to deny that with a nice Sambar invested 2. The Sambar now from J Repa, as well as the contest comes on through. Unknowns teleporting straight to point with the Reaper, the bomb on high. Now Dongo Dong out of mech. OK State Rattlers are not willing to give this up as the Death Blossom picks up both of the supports. The D-Mech comes on. Unknowns still picking it up through. This is going either side, Kenobi.
This is so close, but the respawns are so much closer for OK State Rattlers, and with that Blizzard, that should be OK State Rattlers taking or getting back onto the card, but it's still, I don't know, it's so close between both these teams. It's just a stagger fight, but it finally looks like OK State Rattlers are getting the kills that they need to continue to push this cart after a very long and scrappy fight that's we've only had a minute left in their time bank. It felt like this has been 5 minutes of just continuous fighting, and finally OK State Rattlers are going to push past this first corner.
Getting past the corner, but we have now Flight of the Valkyries grouping up around the second corner and having the Doomfist from Chiz. Gonna have to wait out whether that's gonna be enough. Schwarzschild is still having that wall available. Coalesce is now in the back line. A nice sleep, however, on the Moira is gonna deny that completely. The Doofus coming in on through is gonna get taken out, but not before he takes Swamp Monster, and that is where one of those huge shatters comes through. Tarangalila taken out. The shatter gets blocked by Shrimpy. A well-placed shield there as we have more trades coming through. The support still trying to stay alive on point, but they're not gonna manage for very long.
And this is the difference with what you're seeing from Flight of the Valkyries. Chiz made a desperate swap to the Doomfist to try and get onto the point at the end. He's going in 1v4. I know Doomfist used to be a good character, but he's not that good now. He's been nerfed into the ground. You can't just 1v4 like that, my man. And this should be OK State Rattlers taking this first point in overtime. When it looked like Belly, they weren't even going to get it past that first corner.
It looked so close, but it seems like we've been in this last round for already 4 minutes. We still have a round to go as OK State Rattlers is pushing forward. Keep in mind, don't go off the payload. It's going to be a split second before that overtime wick is going to burn down. Flat the Valkyries from on high as we see them taking up their position. They're going to be pushing in aggressively. It's going straight on through. Dongodong is looking for some value, probably soon with that bomb. The wall comes on and the sleep on Tarangalila on the high ground. Ripper's not going to be able to do much. That's a bomb in the backline, and Unknowns with a triple on the Death Blossom, and that is OK State Rattlers still looking to get the full push here.
That was really well played there from Unknowns there. He saw the self-destruct going out from Dongo Dong and knew that there was no defense matrix to eat his Death Blossom, so he goes into the backline, uses that Death Blossom, and is able to get it for free and gets a nice 3K. And somehow, some way, Belly, OK State Rattlers are almost about to take the second point, but Shrimpy, I don't know about that one. That was a little bit too aggressive for my tastes.
That was a little bit too aggressive, though. A nice wall off and a nice anti-nade. Lunik here is forced to just shield up and stay safe. The Sandbarrier comes on through as Schwarzschild picks up the main healer from Flight of the Valkyries, though now without the Reiner, the Shatter is going to come on through the Sandbarrier to back it up, and now it's looking like Flight of the Valkyries are going to hold on to this point and stop that overtime wick from burning.
Finally, it's going to be OK Rattlers losing this push, losing all their steam. Self-destruct going to secure it with the Blizzard. That's going to be that. But if you're OK State Rattlers, after the start of that map, you definitely would take this as a... you definitely take this because you were almost not going to get first point, but you managed to get first point and then some and get it pretty close to that second point. So this is definitely a good scenario for them.
It's absolutely a good scenario for them, and it's gonna be a steep uphill battle for Flight of the Valkyries to get that same
Right.
amount of progress, Kenobi.
And I wonder if Flight of the Valkyrie, or rather OK State Rattlers, are they going to take an aggressive hold like Flight of the Valkyries did? And because you want to take as much time off as possible, but if you take it even closer than where Flight of the Valkyries were, you can stop them like right as they get out of spawn. So I'd be interested to see if that's what they're going to opt to do, or if they're going to just try and take one fight by the end and see if that works out for them the best.
Is the question. Dr. Gotno keeping us in a surprise. Nope, it's once again going to be the D.Va. So we have that one coming on through as they're gonna set up for their defense.
See them moving towards that spawn. Are they going to go as aggressive? And it looks like they're just going to wait at this first corner. An interesting decision because I personally really like the idea of holding forward to take as much time off the clock as possible. But the other side of the coin to that is if you lose that fight, you've given up a lot of alt charge and a lot just for basically for free and haven't stalled the cart that much. So bit more of a safer route for OK State Rattlers as Flight of Valkyrie is going to start their push.
Gotta get a good fight win in to get the value there. So as you mentioned,
Oh,
a safe position, but not safe enough as Schwarzschild does get taken out early. That's gonna be
really bad because now for Flight of the Valkyries, they're on the back foot, or Flight of the Valkyries, they're on the front foot completely. OK State Rattlers have to move back. They don't have a Mei to counter the walls from Chiz.
Well, they do still have some position though. Unknowns is now gonna get taken out as well, and with that they're just gonna get staggered out. As a 4v6, it's gonna be difficult to hold on to this point.
You see here, Jarippa just sitting on the cart, pushing it as much as he can. We see Dr. Gano actually moving to the cart to try and just stop this Lucio from pushing it for free. He needs to get out of there because he's going to get staggered. That's not good. And that's a D.Va not going to be on that point. And we're getting towards that overtime tick belly. We do see Trungalila is going to go down.
Not as far as Strike the Coalesces to keep everyone alive, but is Lunakir already low, but it's not going to be enough. The Fire Strike comes on through, and it is a Flight of the Valkyries still pushing back. The freeze is so powerful. Schwarzschild already taken out. Once again, Fuzzball with those anti-nades looking very strong here. The wall's not going to do it that much as the remake comes on in, and it's just trying to burn down time, but they're just staggering in, Kenobi.
And they're going to get maybe perhaps one last recontest. I would actually like to see them not do it and wait for this point to go through, because if you recontest now and you lose, you're going to lose a lot of alt charge to the other team. And as you can see already, Flight of the Valkyries have a monstrous ultimate economy right now. They have the Blizzard much faster than Schwarzschild does, and they're also going to have the Sound Barrier very soon. So this is a battle here of ultimates, and is this Blizzard from Chiz going to get a lot of value? Dr. Gotno going to have to put on his eating pants and try and eat this.
He's already eaten one, maybe is hungry for another. Shrimpy also ready with the Shatter, as we've already seen him get a lot of value for those. We have Strangleila trying to get through the side. The wall comes through, doesn't manage to fall off anything. Strangleila is looking for it again. The Blizzard does not get eaten. The Sound Barrier to try and stay alive. The
Nice.
Fall off slightly, but both of the supports now down. If that wall had not gotten taken down, that is so painful to see. The Death Blossom in the backline, but the D.Va is going to just deny all of that damage coming in as their Flight of the Valkyries keep on pushing through, and it's looking like they are also going to just push this to the same amount of space as OK State Rattlers. Looking like they're gonna get the victory. The Blizzard's gonna come on through, but there's no one there to follow it up, and that is now where the Saga Picks come on in. D.Va, but the Shatter, no, there's just saying no from Lunakir, and it is gonna be denied. Flight of the Valkyries are gonna take the second map.
Oh, big Shatter!
Oh, big Shatter, but is there follow-up?
There might not be here, especially with that Sound Barrier. That should be it, and the Death Blossom, yeah, that's gonna be able to do it. And Flight of the Valkyries gonna even this series up 1-1 between them and the OK State Rattlers.
It is going to be 1-1, so we've got a series on our hands. That was some impressive play, and the bit that we missed was apparently a soldier C9ing. A soldier from OK State Rattlers.
That would have been nice to see.
Flight of the Valkyries indeed on point A, so that would have been very much fun to see. Fortunately, we got to miss that, but still we got to see some really great Havana play, and just with 77 eliminations. That's how long this map has lasted.
That was a long Havana map.
50,000. Yeah.
That was a the teams I think are gonna need a break after that, and I think we're gonna need to just maybe take a break ourselves.
Absolutely, and that is what we are gonna do. So don't go anywhere. Gonna take a short break. And we're gonna be back with you with some more great Overwatch. Welcome back to Elo Hell's Get Good Season 4.5 in NA, where we are still watching the OK State Rattlers versus Flight of the Valkyries now at 1-1. I will be your play caster, Belly OW. With me is the amazing Kenobi. Welcome back, Kenobi.
Yeah, I mean, we needed a break after that long one. That was
Yeah.
a game and a half that we just saw from both of these teams. It seems like they both capped Havana, and then they both capped about 1.5 of Havana. So we're going to Hanamura as our next map, and this is another map where could happen to be a long one because Hanamura is one of those maps where A is pretty easy to take, and then B is really difficult to take if you aren't getting those kills.
Absolutely. Keeping 3 people on the point is going to negate that to a degree, but it is also one of those notorious ones where just a 2 CP, point B, very much defense favored,
Yep.
can be a kind of drawn out fight, especially with those maze.
Yeah. And especially with the compositions that they're playing, where both of these teams are opting for, especially FOTV are opting to play more of the style where they're bring out the Moira, and Moira, as we know, is just a healer who, pumps out a lot of healing and can sustain fights for a very long time with her orbs, with her healing, and just coalescence rather. So I think if we're going to be seeing both of these teams fight again, I wonder if Fuzzball is going to get more value on Ana because we saw in Control getting so much value on Havana wasn't as much as Control. And I think that was really the tipping point for Control was just how much value the Ana anti-nades were getting. And if they're not getting as much value, then this is going to look a little bit close to what it was on Havana, where it was Flight of the Valkyries who were winning a lot of these fights.
I mean, at the moment with Diva now, with her being so prominent in the meta, there's also a lot of pressure on the Diva to negate a lot of value, like more orbs, fire strikes, blizzards, and blizzards, high noons, death blossoms, and what have you. So that's also one to really deal with, as you mentioned, with the anti-nades as well.
Right, and I think the other thing that I'm gonna be looking up for is the tank battle between Shrimpy and Lunicure. Shrimpy has had a lot of these moments where he's clutched out fights with huge shatters, but there are also times where he's gone a little bit too aggressive, like we saw him try in 1v6 on Havana Point B by himself, where it was like the second attack, and they were doing a really good job of snowballing. If he had stayed with the team, it might have been a bit easier for them to take that second point, and then if they take that second point, maybe Flight of the Valkyries doesn't take their second point. So little moments like that are something I want to see Shrimpy clean up. And Lunicure also has a little bit of that issue. So it's going to be a battle between which one is going to be a little bit more, I think, reserved and playing with the team.
Yeah, that is those decisions that can really make or break like the whole fight or even the whole map. And but we have seen, as you mentioned, Trimpy really getting some very good clutch shatters on through. Even at the end, still trying, getting a lot on the floor. Just there's no follow up, and it's gonna make it quite difficult.
Someone's got to block him. I mean, it has to be Lunicure at this point because he's really the only one that can block him. There's no Orisa or anything else. So if they're not going to be getting value, there has to be sound barriers there, or sleep darts, or coalescences, or something has to negate the follow-up. And the other thing that I've seen is also there needs to be more follow-up on shatters. Like if the shatters are big from Shrimpy, there needs to be people there helping him kill the members that are on the ground, because if they aren't, then the shatter really gets not that much value.
Like it almost just provides value for the enemy team if you get a lot of damage done, but the enemy team heals it up. That is all of the ultimate charge for your supports.
You got to get the kills. That's really what matters in this game.
I mean, it's basically deathmatch with extra steps. It's what
Yeah.
it is.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Now going to Ahana Mora, and we've got the OK State Rattlers. Once again in the defense. If I am, I
No,
should
we've
be
actually.
correct. Yes.
I think we switched sides actually.
They have swapped sides once more to keep us on our toes.
Yeah. You gotta make sure that I have to adjust my sticky notes to make sure that know which side of the screen they're on as we're going to Hanamura. And I'm seeing Dr. Gotten. Okay, he's hovering the Zarya. He's also on Zarya, so we're gonna have to go through this again, Belly, where we're gonna have to see is Dr. Gano gonna get the value of the Zarya. Like I like Zarya Ryan. a lot. I love that like
Mhm.
tank duo right now, but or not right now, but I liked it in the past. But now it's just there seems to be no reason to not play Diva. So I'm a little bit worried about how this is going to work, especially because you were talking about like eating things and denying things and things like Moira Orb, right? Eating a Moira Orb is incredibly valuable, especially if you have an Ana on your team who's negating a lot of healing anyways. So any way to stop the Moira from getting value is really good.
Well, we've got Tarangalila trying to get the teleporter up. They do manage
Oh,
to
that
get
was
on the high
actually
ground.
really cute.
Unknowns doesn't actually manage to get the kill off, but Flight of the Valkyries already on point. The Symmetra turret is set up. OK State Rattlers going back quite aggressively, but it's not looking like it's enough. Shrimpy gets the one pick off, but the rest is all in red as Flight of the Valkyries are gonna pick up point A pretty quickly.
I actually really like that from Flight of the Valkyries. They use the Maywall to lift the Symmetra up and then put the teleporter down. But once the wall goes down, the teleporter on the first side is by the team, so they can just use that teleporter, rush to the point, and OK State Rattlers has no idea what to do.
They do not. Dongodong, however, still not with a mech, but they are gonna try to teleport around the side. Unknowns has spotted it out though, but everyone on OK State Rattlers is on the high ground on the other side. So Flight of the Valkyries is just gonna be able to get straight on in. Unknowns is gonna have to Wraith form out. We see Swamp Monster trying to boop them away. As we see one by one, OK State Rattlers trying to come on in. Shrimpy already dropping low. They do manage to get Tarangalila, and as you mentioned, this is a defense mave at the second point. So now that it is equaled up, as I say, equaled up. The shatter, however, 4 people on the floor. Is this where the follow-up comes on through? Swamp Monster is taken down, so that's no more ultimate charge that Lucius gonna get, as a lot of kills coming out for Flight of the Valkyries. Shrimpy, however, with the charge coming on through. This is once more where you see the defense favor coming in. J-Rapper dropping extremely low, dropping down. As now the picks going on out of Shrimpy with the huge shatter of his own. It's looking like OK State Rattlers will hold on to point B.
And there you really just see the value of the Ana specifically on a defense like that where things are hectic and you're just having a Moira as your only healer, because they're a really big anti-nade from Fuzzball was able to negate a lot of the healing from the Moira and from the Lucio as they were coming back onto the point. So now 4.5 minutes here from Flight of the Valkyries to try and take this point B, but OK State Rattlers looking pretty good in the Ultimate Economy department. Blizzard's available for both sides, and one of the things you're going to have to talk about as well, Belly, is J-Ripper going to get this sound barrier in time for when the Blizzard comes out?
That's very much a big question, as Tarangalila has swapped off to the Reaper Fuzzball with the huge anti-nade. That's going to open it up. OK State Rattlers just going aggressive. The Nano on the right will make sure that Chiz is not going to be long for this world, and that is one push negated.
I mean, a huge anti-nade there coming out from Fuzzball, getting so much value. Again, it's on Dongo Dong. Is he going to be able to eat these and negate the damage? And there isn't able to. And once that anti-nade hit and hit those 4 people, the rest of OK State Rattlers knew, or rather, the rest of OK State Rattlers knew that they could play aggressive there.
They are very much dead now, opting to go for the low ground, giving up on that high ground, the wall still being a bit too scary. It's ready in the backline, but Dongodong, it's just eaten the Blizzards. Dongodong, a hungry Divas, but the shatter comes on through once again from Shrimpy. Do not let this Reinhardt just get free reign. He is going to just smash your whole team on the floor.
And I think one of the reasons Shrimpy is getting so much value with a lot of these shatters is that there's a little bit of disconnect between where Lunakir is and the rest of the team is, unfortunately. So these shatters really, there's no shield to negate it, so it's a free shatter. He sees 3 people away from the Reinhardt, and he knows that this is a shatter where I can put them on their backs, I can get a couple of kills, and we're already in a position where we're in the advantage because we're on defense and our spawns are so much closer. So even if we're trading, we're still coming out on top.
Absolutely. And getting a few swishies is always nice with that shatter, as Flight of the Valkyries coming on through on the point.
Oh, they give up a tick!
They do grab a tick just straight up for free. This is now where the Blizzard comes in from Flight of the Valkyries. It's going to be the Sandbar to negate a lot, and this grab actually gets a whole lot in the point with Dongo Dog with a triple bomb. Fuzzball gets to sleep off, but is that going to be enough? One tick has been given up. Schwarzschild is actually going to get nanoed. The maid, the only one alive on the point to try and hold on to it. Unknowns is just going to get straight up frozen, not even capable of putting that Death Blossom in. Gotno coming in with Hammond, as Schwarzschild will be the next to drop. Shrimpy trying to stay alive, his shield still up.
Oh,
The
big
activate, however, Lunik here is gonna get taken out. The second tick still not giving up as the Coalescence comes on through. Triangulilla trying to do whatever he can. And now the Death Blossom, J Repa taken out. The defense range is gonna negate a lot of that damage, but Dongadong taken out of mech, so Nerve Diva is not going to do much, is not going to be able to negate that Blizzard this time. That's going to freeze up in the Mei in the middle. No, actually the block is going to negate all of that, but the charge!
Oh, he
the
booped
Mei
him off the right Mei! He
That
booped off the Mei, but the Mei is able to get back onto the point. There's another Shatter, but it's not going to matter. Tarangalila comes in with that Death Blossom, and I think finally, Belly, this should be Flight of the Valkyries taking this point.
It should be, but 1 minute and 20 seconds, 1 minute 20 seconds remaining. Unknowns is trying his best to stay on this point. The Junkrat comes on through, which is an interesting choice to say the least, but that is finally Flight of the Valkyries picking up this point, though with 1 minute and 11 seconds left, so a nice stagger.
Yeah, not really sure what the Junkrat was there for in terms of stalling. If you're picking stall heroes, you usually want someone with a little bit more sustain and something, or like one-shot potential, like a Doomfist, for instance, who can just use that punch to get a kill or disrupt some enemies. Junkrat really not the best at doing that. You have mind to disrupt, but you can't like one-shot someone like a Doomfist can.
Yeah, you got mines, but getting to the point faster as well with those slower spawns coming in. The longer you keep attacking that point, that spawn timer is going to tick all the way up to, what is it, 12 seconds? 10 seconds?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
you also just have 50 more health, so that's also another thing. So.
That is also true, and but it is with 1 minute 11 seconds left. A good hold from OK State Rattlers, who are now going to have to do their own attack. Tarangalila going for the Symmetra, while I'm seeing one on the other side as well.
It's interesting to see if they're going to try the same type of combat or same type of thing where you use that Mei wall to lift your Symmetra turret up and then you use that Symmetra turret to rush to the point. But the interesting thing is that Flight of the Valkyries are using this on defense, and Symmetra usually isn't seen too much on the defensive here. It's usually just an offensive thing, Belly.
It usually is, though I have seen it being used to just be able to kind of deal with Symmetra strats by being able to teleport back to the point if you're holding forward.
Dongo Dong needs to stop hitting this bell. It's starting to get annoying. Right,
well,
okay.
he seems to listen very well, as Flight of the Valkyries is expecting the Symmetra strats, already having set up on the point. Okay, State Rattler is gonna rotate to the top left, as part of their team is actually gonna drop down, unfortunately, with edge teleport. We have Gotno trying to get those turrets down. The push coming on through. We have the Mei in the backline already frozen in the ball, but Shrimpy with a nice fire strike, just already down, no more wall available. We have Lunik here trying to go for that charge, is gonna pay with his life for it, and this is now OK State Rattlers with the upper hand. All of the kills in their favor. Locrimono is gonna get one, but that's not gonna be enough.
And this is the second time this series, Belly, that we've seen Chiz just die first in fights like this, and now the really detriment to that is that you're on Mei, who is a very important character in this composition, specifically because you have something like Blizzard, and now OK State Rattlers is in the lead in terms of Blizzard charge. Unknowns is about a 30% lead on him, which means he's going to get it a lot faster than his counterpart on Flight of the Valkyries, so this is looking very good for OK State Rattlers.
Very good. And now as we have OK State Rattlers pushing on forward through the high ground, I'm gonna have to watch out for that Mei wall. No, they're actually gonna rotate over to the bridge. The teleporter coming on through, straight up to the high ground above the point. Part of them, they're actually completely split up as the Shatter comes on through. There's a few on the floor, but the counter Shatter, both Coalescences are down. Schwarzschild and Chiz are both gone. That's equal trade. That's not what you want to see as the attacking side, as Shrimpy's trying to do whatever he can to get that sneaky Lucio off of the point. Dr. Gotno dropping quite low. Shrimpy with another nice fire strike. It's going to get Locrimono out of the fight. This is now where the Blizzard comes in. Okay, so Rattlers with that advantage. 2 picks already taken, and we have the block from the Mei to keep her alive. the Maywall to deny that bomb. Damage Fuzzball with another pick as they're still pushing on through. A nice charge. Rocker Mono denied. J-Repa down as well. The Div is gonna get demeched, and now with the Symmetra wall straight across the point, there's a lot of damage denied. One tick is gonna start moving up, and once again the swap to the Junkrat coming on through is the Coalescence, another one available already. We have J-Rapid trying to stay alive for as much as he can. A second tick is given up as the third tick is gonna come on through, and that is a nice push from OK State Rattlers.
And one other thing I've seen here, Belly, is that a lot of these teams don't like playing defense. It seems like they're much more offensive teams here because OK State Rattlers is going to finish with more time than they started with. That's pretty incredible on maps like this on 2CP. That means you've had a very good offense yourselves, and Flight of the Valkyries is going to get 1 minute to try and take this first point. And if it's anything like their first attack where they use this strategy, hopefully OK State Rattlers is wise to it now and they're going to be able to deal with it, but they capped that first point very quick, so this is definitely a very doable first take for Flight of the Valkyries here.
Absolutely. OK State Rattlers is gonna really have to be aware of the rotation they're gonna do should a more Symmetra strat come through. Doesn't look like Flight of the Valkyries is gonna try it again.
We see here both these teams coming out, or not both of these teams, just one of these teams coming out on the defense. See them coming out with the Symmetra again on defense. Again, Schwarzschild is on this Junkrat. I'm pensive about it. I'm not sure how I feel. I would rather see something like a May, especially against a brawly composition like Flight of the Valkyries is running. But we're going to have to see. Unknowns is actually switched over with the May, and they're pretty far away from the point. Swamp Monster's going to have to go escort them back here. And for Flight of the Valkyries on their offense, no Symmetra, so no teleport shenanigans this time for them.
I mean, that might give them might give OK State Rattlers enough time to get the May back to the rest of the team. As we already have Shrimpy wall off from the rest of his team. A nice counter wall, however, to keep him alive. And they're gonna pick up 2 kills with Schwarzschild on the Junkrat. There's so much burst damage coming on through, and that is one push already negated here for Flight of the Valkyries.
That was also some incredibly well-played peel there coming out from Swamp Monster. He knew that Shrimpy was sectioned off from the rest of his team, so he went over the wall and booped some of the follow-up away from doing damage to Shrimpy, and he was able to be healed back up from his team. But 30 seconds left here for Flight of the Valkyries. Belly, this is going to be their last fight.
It's going to be absolutely their last fight, as this is such a difficult choke to push through. Shrimpy once again walled off, taking a fair amount of damage, taking too much damage, but now the tire, where's it gonna come through? Doesn't find anything. That is not what you want to see as OK State Rattlers. They're rotating back to the point. The wall's not going to wall anyone off. The Coalescence has already been popped a bit ago, as Triangulila is going to pick up one, but a nice move onto the May, but the Shatter picks up 3 already. Dr. Gotno will not be long for this world. The last one left this area not alive anymore.
We see here Flight of the Valkyries going to be taking this first point here. We're going to see OK State Rattlers. They're going to have to try and make this one last defense. Flight of the Valkyries are only going to get one last shot at this Belly, and they use some ultimates in that last fight as well. Chiz has made the swap over the Junkrat for some reason. Not really sure about that one, but maybe Junkrat versus Junkrat is how this is going to go. And Unknowns has this Blizzard available to him, so that's really what's going to stop this push from OK State Rattlers from getting a lot of value.
Another thing to stop the push is that Maywall, as Lola here is already dropping. Oh, but Chiz with that Junkrat pick. Now actually the block comes on through. Schwarzschild will pick up Lunik here after they've already lost 2. But Flight of the Valkyries is not ready to give this up just yet. Death Blossom in the sky after a boop, as we've got Overtime Wick in the air. And now it's the stagger picks coming in. Unknowns so low is finally going to get taken down. The tower coming on through will get J-Repa. The bomb to the side of the point. Overtime Wick burning down. Point B will not get taken.
Hey, and the Graviton actually went off and didn't get eaten. So that's another one for
Victory's all about.
Yeah, that's another one for Dr. Gano. But only the first point here for Flight of the Valkyries. No ticks on the other side, so the win condition is set for OK State Rattlers. You just need to get that one last tick on that second point, and if it goes the same way that their offense went their first one, where they're now finished with more time than they even started with, this should be a piece of cake for the OK State Rattlers, unless Flight of the Valkyries brings out some interesting compositions here, some shenanigans with the Symmetra again, or something that they haven't seen before.
Yeah, fairly possibly, though we've seen these teams getting some value for the Junkrat, some nice burst damage done, and bursting some people down faster than they can heal them.
It's weird because Junkrat just doesn't seem like he's good against these types of compositions, but in enclosed areas he can kind of surprise you with how much damage and how much burst damage he does if he's up close and personal with those double mines, with just his grenades in general. So no Junkrats we're looking at for this offense and defense, it seems, at the moment. On defense, Flight of the Valkyries just doing what they were doing before, where they're running this rush composition with the Mei and the Reaper. And OK State Rattlers gonna be bringing out the Symmetra themselves, as Flight of the Valkyrie hitting this bell again, making a lot of noise.
I mean, Dongodong seems like an appropriate name at that
right.
point.
You're right.
But you're very much right. As the Symmetra comes on through, question is where they're gonna teleport first. They're gonna teleport straight on above the point, with only two. The Maid going to the side. The Schwarzschild is just on the high ground for the bunker position that we used to have, as we have a nice aggressive push from OK State Rattlers. The wall not really walling off that much, gonna get taken down pretty quickly. The bubbles, though, is gonna make sure that no one dies on the side of OK State Rattlers, but everyone on the Flight of Valkyries Lunicum does get a charge off, but that's not gonna be enough. This is going to be first point take for OK State Rattlers.
And this is going to be a very tall order right now for Flight of the Valkyries to make this defense belly. OK State Rattlers are walking in with about a 4-minute time bank. They have ultimates to work with as well. Specifically, they're going to have Coalescence that they can try and snowball with. And Shrimpy, as we know, Belly, his shatters can win matches by themselves. So we're going to have to see if Flight of the Valkyries have what it takes to make this defense.
We've got an interesting split push going on. We have the Mei going all the way on the outside with that teleporter, while the rest of the team seems to be going just straight up to the high ground, where now there's only one Reaper available. Shrimpy going in aggressive, as the Mei is still somewhere on the other side. Actually, on main is gonna freeze up the Reaper. That is now where the Shatter comes through as well. The Mora down, so that's no more healing available. The Coalescence denied as well. The charge onto Lunik here. OK State Rattlers looking to pick this up quickly and pick this up dominantly.
See here, OK State Rattlers, just the tick needed, just some stragglers left, but it's not going to be able to matter, Belly, and it's going to be OK State Rattlers taking a 2-1 lead, going to match point in this. And for Flight of the Valkyries, it was just a unfortunate situation for them with how good that first offense went for OK State Rattlers. It was just too much for them to handle.
It puts you in this very mental position of we only have 1 minute and they have 4.5 minutes. It's gonna be tough to keep that focus up as well.
Yeah, it's really difficult. And credit though to OK State Rattlers, they use their advantages very well, and they're gonna be able to take this first victory, or not this first victory, their second victory, I guess we could call it.
It is their second victory, and with that second victory, we're also going to be waiting this out for just a moment for what potentially might be the last map, as we take one more short break, so don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. and once again, welcome back to Elo Hell's Get Good Tournament Season 4.5, where we're looking at the NA Beginners Division, where we might be seeing the last map of the series of OK State Rattlers versus Flight of the Valkyries. I will be your play-by-play caster, Belly OW. With me is the amazing colorcaster Kenobi. Hello, Kenobi.
Hello. So you're right. It could be the last map that we've seen between these two. A lot of these maps have been pretty long and pretty drawn out between both of them. And I wonder how that's going to be working on Eichenwald, because are we going to be seeing some Pharah from one of these teams? I know Flight of the Valkyries played it a little bit, and that's actually the best that I've seen them look was when they played the Pharah. So maybe that's a possibility on Eichenwald. That's always been a map where she's shown a lot of prominence. So very interested to see how that works out. And for Okie State Rattlers, I wouldn't expect them to change too much. They've been running Junkrat sometimes, and I really don't like it. Like it's not my favorite pick. Like I can understand some of it is like, okay, it does a lot of spam damage, shield break is very important, but it's not meant for these brawly types of compositions.
I think that is where the bracket comes in. We have the beginners bracket, which is the gold
Yeah.
bracket. It is an organized team, but we've mentioned this before the cast. Like right at the start, like you get these comfort picks that seem to shine through still. Like they're playing a lot of primarily meta, but I feel like those Junkrats, etc., are more comfort picks than anything else.
I mean, we've seen Symmetra too, so there's just been a bunch of picks that we've seen so far. But you're
Yeah.
right, it's been more towards the meta, which is interesting because we didn't think it was going to be that when we started. We thought it was going to be a lot more favored towards the comfort picks, but it seems like they, the people who are playing in this bracket have a good understanding of what the meta is right now and are playing it, and they've been having some pretty good moments.
They're having some really good moments. A few to watch out for. Should you just be tuning in, Shrimpy on the Reinhardt with amazing shatters. Fuzzball with some really great anti-nades. On the other side, for example, Dongodong with so far almost everything that could be chucked at him eaten.
Yes.
And Tarangalila with some really great Death Blossoms and just really great plays from all around. And now on Icon Vault, we're going to see some more.
That's the other thing that we have that I think we should mention to people who are just turning in is that Dr. Gotno has played a lot of Zarya and has not found the greatest amount of success with his gravitons just yet. He's had the one that I remember that actually got some value, but it's a different variation between usually the Rhine Diva and the Rhine Zarya. So it looks like they actually, if I don't cast or curse it right away and on the offense, they're gonna be running the Zarya, and on defense, I can talk about that one. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to always talk about the defense first because they're set in their ways, Belly. They can't change. They can't go back. I mean, they could. They have to walk a pretty big way to change. But for Flight of the Valkyries, looks like they're going to be running the pharmacy combo that I talked about a little bit earlier, and then opting for the Moira. So just going to have that immense amount of healing on the ground, and then have the Mercy in the sky pocketing that Pharah.
I mean, at the moment, as you mentioned, the attacker side, we don't know until they actually come out of spawn, but it looks like it's mostly a mirror match, apart from the Zarya.
It's interesting that Fuzzball isn't going to be opting out or opting into the Ana here. He's actually going to be going for the Moira as well, and this is going to be a mirror composition, like you mentioned, despite just the difference is that there is going to be a Zarya instead of a Diva here, so there's a lot of more potential for ease here for Flight of the Valkyries than it is for OK State Rattlers.
A lot more as we now have the initial fight on Fuzzball with the Moira already with an early pick. No more of Mercy available, no more damage boost as Chiz is trying his best to freeze the Reinhardt of the opposing side, and we have Trippy still falling back quite low, but that's a Coalescence keeping him alive. And now Flight of the Valkyries pulling back as Chiz is the next to drop. A lot of damage coming on through. The Pharah is not going to be enough to hold on to this for just now. Moira's still alive, but not for long.
That pick onto the Mercy was really what ended that defense there from Flight of the Valkyries, because once that Mercy is down, that means that the Pharah can't really play as aggressive, and not only that, the only healing option that you have is from the Moira, and Fuzzball just comes out with the Coalescence a little bit sooner than the Moira from Lacrimona? Lacrimona,
yes.
Lacrimona, okay. It sounds so much better when you say it. Lacrimona just didn't have the Coalescence in time, so now they're going to have the Coalescence advantage in this next fight, so look for that to be able to maybe stop the bleeding a little bit with this push from OK State Rattlers.
Perhaps we saw that coming on through. Triangulila up on a high. Now with the barrage coming on through, that is one pick already. Fuzzball not available. No more main healer, but the hammer from Shrimpy is gonna swat the fly in the air. That is a trade that she's got, but with no healing, it's gonna be OK State Rattlers pulling back hard.
There is still Schwarzschild who's in the back trying to do some damage with that Pharah, but you're right, it is going to be OK State Rattlers going to have to retreat here. And actually, Tarangalila has actually opted to switch over to the Reaper, so going for a much more ground-focused composition here. Our Flight of the Valkyries against this one from OK State Rattlers, where you still have the Pharmacy combo. And OK State Rattlers, Belly, 6 ultimates they have here. They could very easily win this next fight by hitting a lot of their Q buttons.
And let's press Q for the victory, and that is the first Q coming on through. Both of the shadows getting blocked. Nice place, but now the barrage from behind. Not actually going to find anything. Lunica dropping quite low. That is now where the trade comes in. Now with no Reinhardt on the front line, and it's going to be OK State Rattlers pushing aggressive. Diva bomb in the back line, a nice May wall to block that one off. As Chiz is trying his best to stay on the payload to deny any space created. Shrimpy hiding behind the payload. That is a grab, well placed. Good cleanup there as the payload keeps on moving.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Diva there, so he's got a really good one there off the wall. Really well played. Patience there from Dr. Gotno this time, where he's waiting for there to be no Diva, making sure that he's, you know, crossed all his eyes, or not crossed all his I's and dotted his T's. That's the wrong way to say that, but he did the correct way, and he hits a really nice Graviton Surge, and that ends the fight for them. And now OK State Rattlers running past this bridge, but there's a Blizzard.
Well, Dr. Gotno gets Chiz out of the fight as the counter blizzard comes on through. They tried so desperately to get Shrimpy off the map, but that knockback reduction is going to be so huge to make sure that that won't happen, and OK State Rattlers will pick up a checkpoint B.
That was actually really played from Unknowns. They're flanking from the rest of his team and waiting for the Blizzard to come out so that they would push aggressively onto his team, but then once they press aggressively onto the bridge, he hits his own Blizzard, which makes sure that they have nowhere to go, and OK State Rattlers are able to clean up the fight against Flight of the Valkyries. And now Chiz going back to the Junkrat here in an enclosed area. This is a little bit of an interesting pick. No May, so there isn't going to be a wall here or a Blizzard available to them.
Even less to deal with the Pharah, but even less to deal with the Shatter. Off the team on the floor. Lunikir is not going to get taken out just yet, but Dongodong already out of mech. That's going to open up a lot of space for you to keep on pushing. J-Rappa gets a trade though. Dr. Gotno taken out. The counter Shatter gets Shrimpy on the floor. The charge to finish that one off, but Unknowns is still trying. Res is coming on through. So you have Shrimpy back in the fight. Lunikir is going to get taken out as the only one left, and Fire the Valkyries as the back foot.
Yeah, Unknowns is going to have this Blizzard here to stall people, to ward people off of this point. Jireppa has the sound barrier, so there is going to be some stain. There it is to start this fight, and Unknowns is down. He didn't get the Blizzard off, and that should be Flight of the Valkyries here taking this and holding this defense.
Should have very much be. Trying to get some late picks off. They're trying to still get a few to clean it up. OK State Rattlers back in spawn.
I like how aggressive Flight of the Valkyries are being, but not too aggressive where they're going to the enemy spawn to try and get some kills, but they're warding them off of this doorway. And now Flight of the Valkyries have some ultimates to work with coming into this next fight. So do OK State Rattlers. The real big one is going to be that Blizzard. How much value is that Blizzard going to get? Because Chiz has Tyre, and as we know, Tyre, one of those ultimates that can end fights before they even start.
That is where it already comes on through. Will it end the fight before it started? Shrimpy dropping quite low. That Coalescence doing a lot of damage, and that is Shrimpy down. The grab comes on through, but will there be follow-up? The barrage from on high will just get denied. But a lot of damage coming through. Dr. Gotno only gets the Junkrat as Shrimpy comes on back. A bomb in the back line. Will not find anything apart from some charge for the Zarya. Now no bubble available. Triangulila trying to get that Mercy out of the fight. A nice body block, but it's not going to be enough. OK State Rattlers once again taken out of this fight.
Yeah, that barrage from Schwarzschild wasn't really my favorite. He was trying to barrage into the grab, but there was still the defense matrix he had to eat through, as well as the shield from the Reinhardt, so it got almost no value whatsoever. And now Schwarzschild has switched over to the Junkrat themselves, so we have a Junkrat v Junkrat battle here, and Unknowns is still holding on to this Blizzard, and this Blizzard has to get some value here. Dongodong, can he eat this?
The doing it successfully so far, but Tarangalila with an early pick onto Swamp Monster. No Lucio, no speed boost available anymore, and that is going to be Flight of the Valkyries once again, pushing back hard on OK State Rattlers.
I like how aggressive that was from Tarangalila. He saw an overextension, and instead of really just trying to get the kills with just his regular Hellfire shotguns, he decided to use the guaranteed thing, which was that Death Blossom, and he got the kill onto Swamp Monsters. That meant no Lucio, and they aren't able to continue pushing. So again, the thing is that Unknown still has this Blizzard, and it still hasn't gotten the value, so much so that Jaripper has farmed up another Sound Barrier in that time.
Have as the two shatters coming through. Fuzzball dropping low, but it's gonna be alive. Now the Blizzard is here. Chess has taken out Unknown's forward, but will the trades come on through? Sound Barrier gets invested by J-Rapper. It's gonna keep everyone alive for just that extra bit of space. And now it's once again an equal fight, but the grab finds through. Lunikir gets taken out. The Mora, the Chiz with 2 for the counter pick. Swarchild as well with one of his own. But OK State Rattlers looking to pick this up. Swamp Monster in. The madness from the Junkrat as the OK State Rattlers are on the back foot, but they're still holding on. No, Tarangalila is gonna take up a kill.
Oh, the Reinhardt charge didn't connect though, so he doesn't take the damage. So this is going to be OK State Rattlers getting back onto this point. Unfortunately, though, Flight of the Valkyries have the advantage in their respawns, and Fuzzball is dead. That's so much healing gone. And Belly, I don't think that OK State Rattlers are going to be able to hold this one.
They're gonna have to pull something huge out, which you're not gonna be able to if most of your team is dead. We only have Schwarzschild really available, and the main now from Unknowns on the points. Gonna Ice Block to just buy a bit of time, but will that be enough time as the shadow comes through? Fuzzball on the floor, gets taken out, overtime is done.
And I think that's really what you saw there, Belly. It was really what how important that May Blizzard was, and how it didn't it was held for so long that that the Lucio was able to get another Sound Barrier in that time from when they had it. And that's really just Flight of the Valkyries playing very active and not very reactive, right? They were being the proactive team, making the plays before Unknowns could feel comfortable to even throw out that Blizzard. So it took them so long to throw it out because the other team was just doing such a good job of making sure that there wasn't really the perfect moment that Unknowns was looking for to throw that Blizzard out.
Something that sometimes I see a lot, trying to get, as you say, that perfect moment. And sometimes all you need is a Death Blossom to get one out of the fight and go on from there.
And I wonder what, and if this sticks for Flight of the Valkyries, I wonder if they're going to bring out the Widowmaker, because they know that there is going to be a Pharah on the other side. But looks like Unknowns here is going onto the McCree, something that we haven't seen yet in this matchup, but we've seen a lot of prevalences in higher levels of competition. So maybe we're going to see this McCree get some value, especially if they're thinking that Flight of the Valkyries is going to be picking that Pharah, which it looks like they are going to do so.
I mean, it is a strong pick, but it also looked like the Widow was just a tease. I would like to see that one coming on through as well, because, I mean, who doesn't like the sniper dinks coming on through?
5, 4.
I mean, that's kind of why people like Carpe, right? Carpe is the one where it's like, oh, Widow headshots and stuff like that, right? So it definitely is something that I like to see as well. But McCree is definitely a decent substitute, as well as it looks like Chiz has switched over to the main now. So May for Flight of the Valkyries, but not for OK State Rattlers here.
We've got the Zarya once again from Dr. Gotno. Now a bit of a stalemate at the choke as we see the teams trying to just get their space. Lunikir is going to try to go aggressive, and a nice ball and charge to take Shrimpy out of the fight. Looks Schwarzschild with the counter pick as Shrimpy just gets rezzed up. Dongadong manages to get the Zarya out of this fight. So no bubble available now, and now you've got this back foot for the respawn timers.
And Unknowns is putting an insane amount of pressure right now onto the pharmacy, so much that he actually got a kill, but Fuzzball getting a little bit too aggressive there. And now, so is Shrimpy. Shrimpy actually is going to die right here.
Shrimpy is looking at least quite low. Unknowns is going to be down here. Shrimpy somehow still alive. The backup from his team is there. Lunikir will be the one to actually drop. The Reinhardt who prevails is gonna be there, but Lunakir is gonna get res right up as Flight of the Valkyries is already taking presence on the point. They're gonna need to rotate around the back, but you've already lost so much, so you're not really gonna be able to get into the point, and yes, okay, State Rattler's gonna stay back.
Okay, State Rattler's getting a little bit too big for their britches there off of the picks that they got, especially Shrimpy, who was isolated by himself, got charged by the Reinhardt, and ended up dying. So, unfortunately for OK State Rattlers, they're going to have to let that first point go with... And Flight of the Valkyries have a 4-minute and 50-second time bank. Very well played for them.
Very well played. Nice time back to get a lot of value as we have Tarangalila just quite low to the forest room. Gets walled off once again. Got lessons to keep them alive. Also putting a bit of damage on the far Mercy of the Sky. And Schwarzschild is actually going to win that dogfight in the sky.
Oh,
the
big
shatter
shatter
comes on through. 4 people on the floor. Is the follow-up there? No, it's not. The follow-up comes from the barrage from Schwarzschild as a Flight of the Valkyries is going to be pushed back. Payload not moving forward.
And one of the things, unfortunately, that happened there was Jirippa was the one who was on the cart, which means that Jirippa wasn't able to help Schwarzschild, or not Schwarzschild, wasn't able to help Tarangalila on that Pharah. So the Pharah was taking a lot of damage and had to have some cooldowns forced, so they were in a bad position. And then OK State Rattlers took that advantage there and were able to win the fight. So well played from them understanding their win conditions in a fight when they know that the Mercy's a little bit out of position.
Now the Coalescence to try and get their own win condition forced out of it as Tarangalila comes on the back. Barrows picking up 2. Lunakirs is going to push it on forward. The rest comes through to get Tarangalila back in the fight. And the payload this time will keep on moving for Flight of the Valkyries.
Coalescence just a little bit too much there for Flight of the Valkyrie, or for OK State Rattlers to deal with. And now they're moving into this second point here, going to try and take it and go into that third point. And they don't have to push it all the way, Belly. Let's not forget they only have to get almost all the way there.
Almost all the way, just around that last corner as Fuzzball's already dropping quite loads, dropping down. The Sandbear just a bit too late to keep that main healer intact. We've got the High Noon from the high ground, Lunakir down as well. No main healer available. The rest comes on through there. Tarangalila is gonna get Trimpy gone here. Now we've got the shield not available to shield from this bomb, which is going to get Dr. Gotno out of the fight, and it is looking like Flight of the Valkyries is just going to keep on pushing aggressively onto the point.
And they just... OK State Rattlers have just not been able to deal with Tarangalila up in the air. This Pharah is getting so much value. Even with unknowns, there just isn't enough pressure for them to take the Pharah down, and they're going to take this second point here, and they have 4 minutes, Belly, to take this third, to get to that golden box of victory, and they can definitely do it with how well they've been playing so far. Blizzard available here for Chiz. That could just be the icing on the cake.
Very well be. Now we can go listen to Evolve as the shatter comes on through. 2 people on the floor. The bubble's not going to be enough. 2 picks already given up as the Lucio drops are low. The Coalescence aggression is so huge. The payload will move on through the second corner.
And that really should be it, Belly. There shouldn't really be that big of a recontest here because Chiz has this Blizzard. He can use it to they can use it to ward off a bunch of these players here, as well as the barrage that could just dismantle them before they even get to the point.
We're going to dismantle Shrimpy first as the barrage comes on through as well. And this is, as you mentioned, OK State Rattlers is entirely dismantled. Not able to really get much done here on Agawal.
And there it is. Flight of the Victory is going to take this win, and we're going to be going to a map 5, Belly. And again, it kind of makes sense with how well Flight of the Valkyries have been playing with this Pharah, and how just OK State Rattlers really haven't had a good time of dealing with it so far. And some of that has to be attributed to the fact that there is no Diva on the side of OK State Rattlers. They're continuing to run the Zarya, and Zarya doesn't really do well against Diva in those situations. Diva can use the defense matrix to try and negate some of the rockets. You can just negate the entirety of the ult. So unfortunately, it's again this stylistic choice from OK State Rattlers really not paying dividends for them.
I mean, it is, as you mentioned, like being able to deny, especially like apart from all the damage, also ultimates makes it such a strong ability.
Right.
And comparing that to the Zarya, where you got a relatively okay offensive ability, should the enemy team not eat it, which, as we've mentioned at the start, has happened a fair few times. It's gonna put you in this mental state of like,
Mhm.
How comfortable do you then feel on Zarya, and how comfortable do you feel in putting in your grabs?
Yeah. So we're gonna be going to either Oasis or Busan as our next map, and I'm interested to see what OK Rattlers are gonna play because OK State Rattlers are gonna play because they should most likely want to go to a map that isn't very Pharah heavy, right? Where you don't get a lot of value from the Pharah. Something like Busan, for instance, you have a couple of maps there where you can play Pharah to a high degree. Mecha base definitely isn't the one, but the other ones you can play Pharah in. And Oasis has a little bit less Pharah probability. You do have, again, probably I would say 2 maps where you can play Pharah actually. So I actually take that back. Oasis seems like a better Pharah just in general map to play. So
Yeah.
I wonder why we're gonna be going there. Because this is OK State, and because it is the strongest that Flight of the Valkyries have looked is on when they play this Pharah composition, and Oasis is a very um Pharah favored map.
Yeah, absolutely. Tarangalila looking quite strong on the Faras. Rothschild has tried, but not particularly
Mhm.
prevailed. But it seems like we're going to be going to Oasis, where, as you mentioned, very much a good map for Faras, apart from University. But even in University, I've seen Faras being played.
Yeah, you can still play it. It's just not as easy as in the other map types where it's not easy, where you don't have that infinite skybox that you do in some of the others. So University definitely the one where you see it the least, but you still see it sometimes, like you mentioned.
Yeah, you do see it sometimes. Um, Yes, okay. So, yeah, Oasis, just checking whether we should still need a break.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we're good though.
yes,
You
we
get to
seem to
hear
be
us talk
perfect.
even more. So
Yes,
sorry,
which
audience, but
we apologize. Um, yes, Oasis, we've got University, we've got a city center, we've got
gardens.
gardens. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Uh, Gonna just get a bit more personal. Which one's your favorite?
Out of
Yeah.
city center gardens or university?
Mhm.
I like city center because the cars. Because the car, I think the cars are one of the fun. Like there are a lot of those like funny moments where there's like someone just ends up dying to the cars, or you boop them into the cars, like Winston, for instance. I think those are the best moments actually. So yeah, that's what I would do. I would say that.
I mean, I gonna toot my own here. I actually got a nice fair play where I managed to boot banana into the cars as I had a
Oh,
1v1 versus her.
nice.
So hey, that is
Yeah.
I gotta agree that is a nice one. Though by heart, and like a lot of other casters already are aware of this. I am a right main by heart, which means that
Oh,
I
I'm a
like you.
Winston main, so main tank mains. I
I
see it.
also yeah main tank main. I used to
Yeah.
play a lot of Winston as well, but at the moment a lot of Reinhardt, which means
Yeah,
university.
Winston's not that good,
Yeah,
unfortunately. So, but yeah, I like playing
it's
Rhino on
fun.
University. He is
And
fun, but he's in a bit of a hard meta because May exists. So,
yes,
uh, it's not the greatest time to be a monkey main, but
no.
Reinhardt mains, this is your time to shine. I mean, it's so great because we're not playing Orisa anymore. That's the best part, right?
Yes. The
I
part,
hated
the
playing Orisa. I just couldn't like it was just I'm so
um,
happy I get to play Rhino now.
we can shake our hands on that one. It
Yes.
was. I gotta say respect to all Orisa players because I
Yeah,
can't
I
do it.
mean,
I can't.
yeah.
I just zone out and I think about
I'm just
dinner.
like, "Oh, I'm shooting, I'm shooting. Okay, I'm pulling. Alright, now I have, like, 5 seconds where I don't have to do anything. Alright, I'm shooting more. Oh, someone's on me. I use Fortify. I'm not gonna die. I'm totally fine." And then, yeah, so that was the Orisa gameplay, and now we're on
Yeah.
Reinhardt, where it's a little bit more fun.
It's I like the adrenaline that you get through, and
Yes.
I will always commend Blizzard on the most perfect sound design on the hammer swings
Yeah.
of Reinhardt.
Yeah,
Nothing more
it
satisfying.
sounds good. Sounds like it has weight to it, when you hit
Yes,
someone, and
it's
then when
so
you
good.
shatter someone, and it's just like everyone is
It's
on their backs. It's such a good feeling.
feels so good, and I mean, with University as the first map, it's Reinhardt's playground of all these three maps. Uh, so I'm expecting that. I'm expecting more Diva, and honestly, I'm expecting more Zarya.
Yeah, I think Dr. Gotno has shown that he's going to play Zarya if he can, and that's like kind of the thing that we're thinking about when we were talking about comfort picks a little bit earlier, where it seems like OK State Rattlers are just dead set on playing the Zarya, and they kind of have to make their own bed and sleep in it at that point. Where if there's things on the other side that are good at countering Zaryas and stuff like that, then it's going to be good for Flight of the Valkyries. But as we talk about it, we've possibly caster cursed because it is going to be Dr. Gotno hovering the diva. We're not sure if he's going to play it just yet, though.
I mean, it can just be fun to just fly around the spawn room as a diva, now also dubbed by a fair bit of the community as Chunky Tracer.
3,
Bunnies, you
Um,
only have 3
One.
seconds on your cooldown for dash, so
objective.
it's pretty good.
that is really quite good, and having a diva everywhere is absolutely terrifying. As the team start pushing in straight on through main towards the point, wall that is not looking that great. The Ananate, however, is, as we have a Triangulila trying to teleport behind. It's going to get slept. Shrimpy with an early pick onto Chiz. As you've mentioned before, early picks onto Chiz have happened, but we see some trades coming on through. Unknowns on the Soldier. It's going to be a bit more difficult to get damage through. Donga Dong already
Ooh,
a
a
shatter
shatter!
through. So much damage done by Shrimpy, and that is going to secure the point for K-State Rattlers.
Shrimpy already with a shatter there, and he has 20% towards another one. He actually is in a position where he could lap Lunakeeter in terms of that Earth Shatter charge. But again, Belly, what did I talk about on that first control map? The anti-nades from Fuzzball getting an insane amount of value, and there at the start you saw was able to get an anti-nade that hit a bunch of people, and they were able to win the fight off of that.
Well, they're gonna need a good one again to win this fight. Already losing Schwarzschild early on. Coalescence gonna make sure that Shrimpy's not long for this world. Nice face onto Unknowns. It's looking like Friday the Valkyries, even with that huge anti-nade, is gonna start picking up this point.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's Schwarzschild. I know May is a really good character, but he's not that good where you can kind of just walk up to tanks and not use your ice block. You need to be able to use that ability because it is your only safeguard against frontline like that. And unfortunately, he just dies before he uses it. A little bit surprised by the amount of damage that Reinhardt does.
It is a lot of damage coming on through. We have Tarank and Lila hiding around this corner, trying to get some damage done. The wall doesn't manage to catch anyone off guard. That is the Reaper in the backline. Gonna get turned around on. Waveform is gonna come out. Dr. Gotno frozen ever so slightly. And now the bomb is straight on the middle of the point after they already picked up 2. Is gonna pick up a 3rd. And OK State Rattlers turning it around once again. It's a seesaw, Kenobi.
And we see here that OK State Rattlers are going to be able to clean up these kills, and they're going to be able to take back this point. And Fight of the Valkyries, though, are coming back into this next fight with about a 6-pack of ultimates, and OK State Rattlers are going to have the same. It's just the unfortunate thing for OK State Rattlers is that Tac Visor doesn't really get that much value in these terms of compositions, whereas for Flight of the Valkyries, you have May and Death, you have the Death Blossom and the Blizzard, which both are really good AoE ultimates that can do a lot of damage.
Whole lot of damage. As we now have a bit of a poke war going on. The Nano coming on through for the Reinhardt, but if you're frozen, you're not going to be able to do much. The Blizzard in the backline, Unknown's down, so no attack fires are available. Both of the Blizzards actually invested. The famed Venn diagram of death that's going to be counting the death for OK State Rattlers. This Flight of the Valkyries is just running on through them.
See here, OK State Rattler is going to lose this point, but they got it towards that 80%, so close towards that last fight territory type of percentage. But the good thing for Flight of the Valkyries there is they didn't use some of their big ultimates. They were able to keep their sound barrier most of all, which is going to have an advantage for them when it comes to the sustain of this next fight. Unknown still has this Tac Visor, and I'm just not sure, Belly, where he's going to get the value from it.
Gonna be a big challenge. He's looking to split off from the rest of the team. Shrimpy ready with that shatter. We've seen him land some good ones. He's gonna go around, actually gonna go peel for a catch on the Reaper. Now the shatter comes on through from Lunakeer. Is gonna pick up a few more. Tarangalila is going to follow it up. That's a lot of damage coming in through. Coalescence invested as well. And that is Flight of Valkyrie still holding on.
Well, Flight of the Valkyries use all of their ultimates basically besides the sound barrier in that last fight, and they're able to win off of it. And again, I still see that check mark next to Unknown's name, Belly. It's not gotten any value so far, and I don't see it getting a lot of value in this map as well. And this is last fight territory. OK State Rattlers need to win this fight or they're going to go down 0-1.
Unknowns is very much looking to get to that high ground. J-Rappa completely aware of it as the peel comes through from the Diva. In the main fight though, Lunik here picking 2 for himself. That is going to be a very big one. The Anti-Nade trying to push them back, but it's not looking like it's enough. The Visor on the high ground, the Diva coming in for the peel. Fuzzball down, a bomb in the middle of the point. The shield from the rider of Lunik here has been broken, and it's now looking like OK State Rattle is trying to turn it around, but as a solo Diva is going to be difficult. The stagger picks are coming on through. That is the reinforcements, and May always a force to be reckoned with. The ice block from Chiz already invested, and a bomb from Dongodong on the main point. Rangalila will pick it up. A Flight of the Valkyries will pick up point A.
See your Flight of the Valkyries, they won that map, and it was off the back of some really well-played usage of their ultimates, and unfortunately there, again, for OK State Rattlers, it's kind of an issue with their comfort picks that we've seen. Unknowns on the Soldier gets, frankly, no value whatsoever, Belly, because of how, I mean, there's a Diva on the other side, and the Diva is one of the biggest counters to Soldier 76 at the moment because you almost can't escape from her, and Defense Matrix is just so good against those hit scan heroes.
And you saw the Diva just going for a lot of peel. Just every time Unknowns tried to get to that high ground, as we're looking at a bit of a pause screen, every time I go to the high ground, the Diva was immediately there. And I mean, that is just going to deny you all of the positioning and damage that you could potentially put out.
And like you said, I mean, there was like the tack visor that I kept talking about that was getting no value as well. And it's just, it's one of the, like, the issues that we've seen with OK State Rattlers so far is that they just have these like weird niches of their composition that they work sometimes where you do have sometimes where Zarya has some really nice plays with their grabs. And then sometimes you see Unknowns with that Soldier got some things to work on some of the other maps, but there it just did absolutely nothing. And Flight of the Valkyries essentially was just able to out-brawl OK State Rattlers.
And I mean, if you get that frontline push, like, you are missing that Soldier as well. Like you're mentioning, just not being able to do this damage on your own, but having Tarangalila just there with the Reinhardt to provide even more frontline damage, that burst damage, this is gonna get you that frontline fight basically every time. You could just keep running on in.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with like Diva and why she's so prevalent right now is that she has. You mentioned like she's Chonky Tracer, and I actually really like that. But like it kind of makes sense. But she's Chonky Tracer with the ability to just negate damage from enemy teammates or from enemy players. Right? You can walk up to a soldier. He's gonna try and shoot you, and you could just have your defense matrix, and he can't do anything about that, and he loses that 9 times out of 10. So maybe I'd like to see Reaper or something that can really damage these chunky tanks that are in front of OK State Rattlers.
Yeah, now with those 3-second boosters, she is either dealing with you as the peel on the high ground or helping the ride on the front line. And yeah, that is a very scary pick to have to deal with. And you may get your wish. I'm seeing the Reapers.
And we're going to see the Reaper now. So mirror comps besides the differentiation. Again, that Fuzzball is going to be on this Ana, and Lacrimano is going to be on this Moira. So again, look out for the anti-nates. How much value is Fuzzball going to be getting from them?
That's one thing to wait out for, as we have everyone but the Lucio on the high ground, and it's going to be Swamp Monster paying with his life for that one. Now, no more speed boost available. That's going to be huge for Flight of the Valkyries to take a nice early grab of this point.
And that's just some miscommunication and disjointed play coming out from OK State Rattlers. Swamp Monster gets caught by himself by the DPS line, and he gets bursted down. So that means you lose that Lucio, you lose that ability to speed and rotate. And it's going to be Flight of the Valkyries taking this first point and going up and start taking up that percentage. And they're on match point, round point here, Belly. If they win this round, they're going to win this match.
They definitely are, so it's going to be sweat in the brow for both of these teams. So K-State Rattlers looking to push on through. They're going to rotate around the wall that comes on in. The wall from Schwarzschild not really finding the value that they were looking for. A nice leap on Triangulila. It's not going to get much of a follow-up, so the Reaper's going to make his way out. The Diva, however, is not, as the D-Mech comes on through the shatter now. Shrimpy on the floor, not looking as clean as he was before. Fuzzball does get Lunac here, but meanwhile Triangulila is in the backline to all of that damage.
And this time Fuzzball isn't getting as much value with these anti-nades as he was before, Belly. And this is the best that Flight of the Valkyries have looked here. They have this Blizzard way ahead of Schwarzschild right now on OK State Rattlers. So this should be another fight win for Flight of the Valkyries here if they play these ultimates correctly, because they have such an advantage. And Fuzzball is down to Tarangalila. That just can't happen.
Can happen. No more main healer available puts OK State Rattlers very much on the back foot, and Dr. Gotno, yeah, like they're just gonna have to wait for the reinforcements. But that is how our Fuzzball comes on through, and another push coming in. Will that Blizzard find value? That is where it comes on through. No eat for that. Dr. Gotno already frozen up. Shrimpy as well. The follow-up is there. 2 picks and another quick cleanup. Now with a 90% of the point Kenobi, this is gonna be difficult.
Last fight here for OK State Rattlers. They need to make something happen if they want to have a chance to even win this fight. And there's a lot of staggers actually happening here, Belly. I don't know if OK State Rattlers is even going to get a chance at a really good recontest. They might not.
They might not. Overtime Wick burning down as the rider tries to charge, and that is this match slipping through the fingers of OK State Rattlers, as a Flight of the Valkyrie will pick up the victory for this first series here for today for the NA Beginners Bracket.
And that kind of ended on a little bit of a whimper there, Belly. It was so close between both of these teams, but just at the end, I think what we saw is some really good adaptation from Flight of the Valkyries, where the main thing I had talked about throughout a lot of this series was how much value that Fuzzball was getting on that Ana with those anti-nades. And in that last match, that last round, I didn't see a single anti-nade get value because it was either being blocked or being eaten by the Diva. So really well played and good adaptation from Flight of the Valkyries.
Very good adaptation, and maybe some just fatigue setting on in, as these games do. It did last quite a while, so it's something to also keep in mind. But that being said, GG's to both of these teams and all of these amazing players. We've seen some very great Overwatch here in this beginners bracket. And with that, we're at the very least signing off for this series. That doesn't mean that we're done yet. There is going to be another series coming up in a bit, but for that we're going to take another break to get everything set up nice and comfortably, as we will see you in just a moment.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just
Oh my god, it's huge! Oh! Kill!
kill!
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played. Competitively.
I need help, I need help.
I'm with you, I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then 2 captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
Hello and welcome back to Elo Hell's Get Good Season 4.5, where now we will be watching the intermediate division, where we will be seeing Hunters of Artemis Asteria versus 5-minute break. I will be your play-by-play caster, Belly OW. With me is the illustrious and knowledgeable Kenobi. I know I've used it before, but still.
I need to figure out what I should call you. The Magnificent Belly is what I think I should say.
Way too much credit, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I'm happy to watch this watch some more games with you again. We just had a pretty long series, I would say, 2.5 hours of some Overwatch that we just cast together. So interested to see, are we going to get the same type of games here? We are bumping ourselves up a little bit in the terms of the bracket. I believe this is intermediate, right? The step above beginner, which we had beforehand. Or is it
intermediate? I'm gonna just make a very sure. Intermediate should be diamond. Yes.
Diamond? Okay, gotcha.
Yes,
So
we have
diamond.
beginner, rookie, and then intermediate. Yes.
Right. Okay. So there was just one step I forgot. Sorry, rookies, but we're going to be going to this. We're going to be going to Ilias as our first map, and I'm interested to see again. Like, are we going to see the things with in terms of the compositions, right? Because last time we said, oh, all these teams are just going to play comfort. We probably won't see any meta, and then they just decided to play meta for the majority of the time that we saw them play. So is it going to be the same with the people in the intermediate bracket, or are we going to see them flex more towards something more comfort based?
That is absolutely the question, and it's going to be Ilios where we will be finding this out first. Hunters of Artemis Asteria, we're just going to refer to as Asteria because
Asteria,
that's just so much to say.
Because we like our voices and we don't want to have them destroyed.
Exactly. Words are difficult, and especially if you're word vomiting like that. Yeah.
Especially for casters, words are difficult. That is
yes,
exactly about right.
I'm surprised at the moment, even though we don't know it yet for sure because of these things, but we're seeing more Zarya.
We are seeing more Zarya, and it looks like we're going to have a brief pause right now at the start, but you're right, there is a Zarya. We saw how that worked out last match, and it didn't work out that great. It had some good moments, but at the end, the team didn't win. So maybe Asteria has found a different way to play Zarya, and it can work a little bit more here. But on the other side, for 5-minute break, we're going to be seeing a Hanzo. Don't know what the other DPS is going to be, and for Asteria, we're going to be seeing McCree May. So are a little bit more standard in terms of the DPS line, because in the last map we saw a lot of Reaper May, we saw some Junkrat. So this looks a little bit more standard right now than what we saw in that last map.
It looks a fair bit more standard, and yeah, I mean the D.Va is still as strong as she is in this meta. We still see the
Chunky
May also Chunky Tracer, absolutely. I'm apparently teaching all of NA about Chunky Tracer because in you we're just calling her Chunky Tracer at the moment.
I want that to be like the nomenclature that we use for all about D.Va, because that just sounds great. Because we don't see a lot of Tracer anyways, so we gotta see her at some point.
Yeah, we gotta get Chunky Tracer. Like, she's everywhere and nowhere, and she's got the health of a mountain.
Yeah, we don't have Tracer, we have Chunky Tracer. So
we have Chunky Tracer.
So just wait in. Oh, there we go. We're gonna get in soon.
Gotta get into it. Also, the team sheets, if there anything to go by, Nifego or Knifego, is going to be the hit scan, and indeed that's what we're gonna see with the McCree.
So interesting deviation here is on 5-minute break, no May, so no ability to use walls, and something I'm going to be looking out for, especially since both of these teams are running Ana. Who's going to get the most value? But already Nefego getting value off that McCree takes out Taco Guy very early.
And you're not going to need a May if your Hans is just going to get a kill onto the Lucio. Garden's Cake is going to get taken out, however, by his counter, but a 5-minute break already in the upper hand. We still have the tank duo on the point, but it doesn't look like for long.
Yeah, that was a blink and you'll miss it fight right there. I mean, immediately as soon as Nefego got that pick onto Taco Guy, really well played from 5 to go aggressive, knowing that there isn't really there isn't the flashbang that they have to deal with, so they can play a little bit more aggressive. And Hoxton very close already towards that Graviton Surge, going to be looking for Gizmo to see if they're going to be able to eat it here, and if not, how are they going to deal with it, because they don't have any support ultimates available to them, Belly.
Well, Taco Guy once again the first to drop. Not looking too great on the McCree. Cardin's Cake picking up 2 before he gets taken out himself. Now the Nano comes on through and Raffle, and this is where they're gonna push on back, picking up 4 for himself. The Reinhardt going nuts for that one, as the D.Va is the last to drop, and Asteria picks it back.
It looked really good at the start. Again, Taco Guy goes down very early in that fight, which means no for McCree, but Nefego misses his stun onto the Reinhardt, and he was then nanoed by by Mythical Cat, so he was able to stay alive, and now it's Asteria who have control of this point. Ultimates available all around for both these teams, so it's going to be a particle bloodbath, as I like to call it, Belly, in this next fight.
Well, a bloodbath to start out with one Lucio down, and we've mentioned it before, that speed boost so powerful. The Revan, however, with a nice pick onto Hoxton, and Nefego is gonna try to pull that back. Cardin's Cake with a double on the Fire Strike, and 5-minute break is barreling on through.
And now you're seeing a little bit of the value that the D.Va's bringing instead of the Zarya, the fact that you can eat those anti-nades because their Mythical Cat, or not really Mythical Cat, Absol hits a really nice anti-nade, and there's nothing to eat it on the side of Asteria. They don't have a D.Va or anything like that, so these nades from Absol are going to get so much value here.
Gonna get a lot of value, as Asteria is gonna push on and back in. Also the eat on the Fire Strike, the Dragon going to split off the team, and that's gonna be Cardin's Cake already taken out. No healer available to keep that Reinhardt up, and Asteria is gonna pull back once again.
Really nice aggressive play from 5-minute break. They use their ultimates aggressively. They wait till the enemy team of Asteria is funneling through, and then they use that Dragon Strike in an enclosed area, forcing them and separating them away from each other. And Asteria, Hoxton has had this Graviton for a very long time, but just hasn't had the perfect time to use it. So Asteria in this situation with 5 ultimates should win this next fight. They have the Blizzard and they have the grab, but it's eaten!
The grab is eaten, but you can't
though.
eat his shatter as 5 people are on the floor. The Blizzard used as well. The Blizzard itself was actually going to get 3 of the picks. Asteria is going to turn the point around quickly, but they used a lot, Kenobi.
You almost never see that when Blizzard's getting the 3K. That was after the shatter. That was pretty incredible right there. But Asteria, Hoxton not getting any value with his Zarya grab, but instead it was the Abyss Walker who got the value with their Blizzard after the huge shatter from Rafalia.
Huge shatter indeed, as the High Noon gets infested. Shield comes on and back up. High Noon basically only used as a reload at the moment. Sarah Baba already used the wall as well, not really walling that much off as the shatter comes on through a Magic Turtle. Will that be enough? The anti-nade is so huge, but Nefego already picking up a fair few. The Nano as well onto Cardin Cake to give that extra bit of survivability. Going aggressive, only a D.Va left, and with 99% of the clock, Asteria is looking at a difficult fight here.
This is going to be 5-minute break, taking the point, and I don't think, Belly, anyone's going to be able to get back on to this point in time, and they won't. It's going to be a 1-0 lead for 5-minute break, and we're going to talk about this a lot because it seems like the two teams that we have today just really like playing Zarya into D.Va, and I don't know where the value comes from in some of these moments. D.Va's just so strong at the moment where you have the ability to eat those anti-nades and to deny ultimates. Like we saw Hoxton use that Graviton and it was eaten by the D.Va, which forced the rest of the team to start to use their ultimates. And Graviton should be an ultimate that you're forcing ultimates out of other people, right? Where you want them to use sound barrier and stuff like that, but they don't have to because it's already eaten. So you're trading 1 for 1 in these situations, and it's not really working out in your ultimate economy as we go to the second map where they've stuck towards using this Zarya, but they made some changes. They're going to be running the Moira and the Brigitte, so offering a little bit more sustain and some armor and some CC ability to deal with something on 5-minute break.
Absolutely, but losing that Lucio for the speed boost, so that is definitely going to really flip the way that it is going to be played with an early Maywall already. It's going to be a nice flashbang onto Carton Cake as well. Gizmo already deep maxed, so no D.Va available. Looks like that sustain is working well for Asteria as they go on aggressive against 5-minute break and pick up the point early.
5-minute break go a little bit too aggressive there on that push where the Reinhardt goes in ends up getting stunned and ends up having so many resources funneled into him and isn't able to be with Gizmo, who was going a little bit over aggressive. So Gizmo gets demeched and then everything else falls apart from there. 4 5-minute breaks. So Asteria have a really nice hold on this point right now. Coalescence about to be available for Mythical Cat.
Well, there's not going to be Brigitte available as Nefego gets that early headshot. As Hoxton is going to trade it out, and now that Lucio once again not available. Revan on the high ground is going to be a high noon invested as well, but you've already lost so much of your team, and it's not even going to get anything.
Asteria is playing this so aggressive, and I really like to see it, Belly, as we see them have they're about to have 5 ultimates to work with in this next fight. Mainly going to be having that Blizzard on the other side for 5-minute break. No Blizzard available to them. No support ultimates available as well. So it really has to be off the back of Gizmo here. He has to eat this or else they are going to lose this next fight.
Yeah, but even with that eat, we've seen that doesn't always mean that you get the victory. As we see 5-minute break once again. Going for the aggression, going for the push, and Nefego with the early pick once more. Will it this time turn out different? Asteria with a lot available. The Shatter gets blocked. That doesn't get any value. A nice move to get everyone away, but Cardinals Cake is still dropping so low. Rafola just going so aggressive, and that is the Blizzard. And 5-minute break once more on the back foot and retreating.
5-minute break and a half to retreat here. Revan switched over to the Widowmaker, but hasn't gotten a lot of value yet. But Mythical Cat getting a little bit too over-aggressive on that Moira, so that means that there's a chance that 5-minute break can recontest without Asteria having one of their main healing options. But Asteria have so many ultimates to work with, Belly.
Well, Nefego is gonna invest the high noon. The best walk already taken out, and this is now a 5-minute break. Are looking to turn it back. 99% in the counter, so this is make or break at the moment, but they still have 100% to go.
That was just really unfortunate for Mythical Cat there, going that over-aggressive play that he had taken down. That means that 5-minute break understood that there's no main healer, so we can play extremely aggressive here, and we can use our ultimates to take this point, which they end up doing. And now Asteria is going to be recontesting back onto this point. Last fight territory for them. If they win, they're going to be able to take this round, and they have that Moira Coalescence to work with, an advantage that they have over 5-minute break.
It's gonna make it difficult, though you're gonna have to dodge a Shatter, and that is exactly what they do, as now the Asteria with the Coalescence that you mentioned are gonna push aggressive. A nice flashback on the Moira. The Coalescence is completely denied. The Sand Barrier is gonna keep everyone, has kept everyone alive. So Nefego is gonna get that early pick once again. The McCree providing so much value here for 5-minute break. As Asteria are, as 5-minute break are starting to push back on Asteria.
And the Nefego has been playing very well so far on this McCree, doing a great job right there of stunning the Moira out of their Coalescence and getting a couple of key frags as well whenever they've been on those types of flanks that we've seen a lot of McCrees do recently. And now Asteria making a switch onto the Baptiste, so offering even more sustain and more healing than they had before in their comp. They just lose out on that speed boost from the Lucio, but 70% left. This is going to be last fight territory for 5-minute break here, and also for Asteria.
I have Revan on the Widowmaker that swapped a bit ago as Coalescence gets invested by Stofu. Garden Cake going for the charge as Nefego once again gets the early pick. That's so many time that he's got that one. As the high noon comes on through, it's not gonna really fight anything, but it doesn't need to, as the rest of the team is starting to clean this up. Taco Guy, however, now trying to trade this around. This is a 2-for-2. We only have the Reinhardt in the backline. This is where the graph is gonna be so powerful. Gizmo though manages to bomb it up. We still have trades coming through.
Yeah, Revan's trying his best with the Coalescence is there from Mythical Cat. It's just a lonely Lucio on the point, and this looks like it's going to flip. The desperate Doom to swap from the Nefego. He is able to get a kill. That's huge.
Takuga already out of the fight. As for both teams, the stagger picks are coming on through. Hammond is back, though the Moira Orb gets enough damage done that Stofu gets taken out. Divas are here, but Asteria with a big numbers lead here on the point so far, that the staggers seem to be just too little too late. Sandberg gets invested. Trace is going to be staying alive. Revan trying to do as much damage as he can. Doof is coming on back through once more, but that will not be it. Asteria will pick up Ruins.
The fact that Mythical Cat was alive through the last of that fight on that stagger really is what set the tide, because it was just tricklers and staggers coming in to that fight. And for Moira, you really like those moments where you can just throw out your damage orb and get those kills very quickly and heal up your team at the same time. So Asteria looking good on that map as we're going to be going to well, and I see a Hog and Orisa from Asteria, something I talked about in our last series, and we might see the Halt Hook combination coming in play.
I mean, we might see that coming into play, and I'm also seeing some more Pharah, so I'm excited for this one.
Pharah, I mean, has always kind of been a staple on Lighthouse because of just the infinite skybox and the way you can play around some of the geometry to keep yourself safe, but there is a McCree from Taco Guy on Asteria that can put some pressure on Nefago, but we're going to have to see how these two compositions are going to work. You're really, for Asteria, you're looking for that shield break and looking for the ability to halt hook people and get those picks that way. But Nefago already starts with the pick onto Abyss Walker. Is it going to be resurrected? It isn't just yet.
No, it's not. And by now you've already, you've also lost Taco Guy. So now, 5-minute break, you just need to walk forward and grab the point.
It's very easy there from 5-minute break. They really make a nice rotation through that enclosed area of the point, not through the Lighthouse, but through the other way, through Mini Room, and they are able to negate a lot of the damage from Abyssal Walker. As you can see, Nefago already has his barrage, whereas Abyss Walker isn't even 50% to his, and Nefago just doing so much damage, getting so many picks.
Already having that barrage ready as well. Nice big lead that he's managed to make there, as Hoxton is taking a bit more damage here from the, well, barrage of rockets coming in from the sky. That is not even the ultimate yet. And taking it slow, Kenobi.
Taking it very slow, and the thing that Asteria with this composition doesn't have is they don't have a diva to eat this barrage, and there it is from Nefago. The barrage comes in, gets one, gets two, and that is going to be 5-minute break, cleaning up this fight very easy, and Asteria just looked completely lost.
They really look lost. They really seem to have some trouble getting their positioning, and now the subs coming through.
I mean, Asteria is kind of just done with Nefago doing anything in the air. They've switched over to the McCree and to the Soldier, the double hit scan, because they've had just enough of what Nefago has been doing on that pharmacy combo, and they've actually switched to the tank composition as well. But Nefago, it doesn't matter. Taco Guy's still gonna go down. Rafala follows, and this is just a dismantling from 5-minute break right now.
A full dismantling as Asteria is on the back foot. They're gonna res up Taco Guy here as finally Nefago gets taken out. Just a bit too aggressive. The res though comes through. Nefago is back, but without a mercy this time. Shatter as well gets invested. That doesn't really find anything as Gizmo is helping along. Rafala does manage to win the Vine battle, but will that be enough? 5-minute break, still holding on to the point. 91% on the counter as we have a solo rider essentially here on the point. Doesn't get exploded. As Revan picks up the mini diva. The Lucer tried to get that boop. Revan barely staying alive on the point. High Noon from the back. Gizmo taken out as the barrage just straight up onto the McCree. That will be a painful one to not tell the family of Carnage Cake with a nice charge onto Magic Turtle. The knock back really helping here for the diva push. Carnage Cake in the back line now with barely any health left, as it looks like Asteria will be looking to turn this around.
This is such a scrappy fight though, Belly, and we see that Sfera is back onto this point, and I can't seem to say who's gonna win. I mean, Nefago is gonna be down, and that's Rafala getting res back up, so that should be the final nail in the coffin. And Asteria getting the point back, but 5-minute break had a huge stagger right there that almost could have ended up going in their favor, but they just didn't have the picks. And Nefago has decided, okay, there's 2 hits gain on the other team. I'm gonna play McCree myself. I don't want to be a failure in this situation. And Revan is going to have this Blizzard, and as we know, Belly, Blizzard, one of those fight-winning ultimates by themselves.
I mean, it is one of those primary win conditions, and it's always on the divas to be able to eat them. We will see if the divas are hungry hippos. as the shield from Carton's Cake has already been eaten, and that is the Blizzard coming on through. No eat for that one. Rafola, the next one to drop, as Mythical Cat just Guardian Angels into the Blizzard, manages to stay alive. A Diva Bomb in the back, a wall and a shield to keep everyone alive as Mythical Cat is trying to get the res off, manages to get it through. Nefago wins the McCree battle though. The Shatter only gets Revan, the charge will get Carton's Cake however. The mate, not the first to die there, but it is enough value. The bomb gets invested this late on. Doesn't find anything. Still starting to stagger this out, and this is a lot of point percentage that you're losing.
And somehow, some way, 5-minute break lose that fight when it started out so well for them, and now Asteria has the advantage when it comes to this point, but 5-minute breaker coming back into this point with ultimates, specifically the support ultimates to work with. They have the Nano and they have the Coalescence, so they have sustain over Asteria because Asteria does not have those support ultimates in their bank. They only have this Deadeye from Taco Guy.
That is one difficult one to pull off as the Coalescence comes on through. Taco Guy behind the shield. As we have a lot of defense, but it's not enough. Carlos Cake is taken out, and with that, Reinhardt away from the rest of the team. Nefago is trying to do whatever he can, as the famed electrical cowboy is now on the field. Will pick up Rafola. Is trying to pick up a few more, trying to fight the Mercy, but the Mercy and the Lucio win out this battle.
And it looks like Asteria is going to come back from the brink. They've 5-minute Baker made the desperate swap over to stall characters. And we do see Carton Cake go down. This is very scrappy here, Belly.
This is very scrappy as Hox is gonna invest a bomb. Overtime still not taking down, but Absol is the next to drop. The Tracer from Revan dropping low, dropping dead. And he received the Doomfist once again. Taco Guy is not gonna get the high noon off, but Nefago is also not gonna get much else off. Once again, the stagger here, and the Sambar is going to make sure that Asteria is going to really be able to push in aggressively. The Shatter to finish that one off. That one's painful.
That was very close from both of these teams, but it is Asteria who comes out on top. 5-minute break going to be maybe kicking themselves a little bit. They had that 99%, but got reverse swept in percentage, and they are going to be going down 0-1 as Asteria takes our first map.
The Shatter, that was beautiful to see.
6-man.
That is such a tasty Shatter.
Oh, and then this is the 3K with the Maple Lizard.
That is that one. So I still want to kind of talk about the Zarya though. Like, I kind of get where teams are coming from, in the sense that Zarya should theoretically be a Diva counter. But now, with that new booster, Diva can just always get away from you.
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, when it was in good, when Diva, like, couldn't, like, run away from you every 3 seconds, then I could see, it took, like, 6 seconds. 6 seconds is enough time for a very fully charged Zarya to melt down a Diva. Now you just can't do that. The Diva can get out in time, especially with healers available to them. So that's kind of where I scratch my head a little bit on these decisions of picking Zarya.
It feels like the teams that picked the Zarya haven't fully integrated into their system how fast those 3 seconds fly by.
Yeah,
I think that might be a thing. Like, you're still used to that old Zarya Diva interaction.
You're like, oh, I can melt this Diva, but sometimes you just can't. It just doesn't work like that anymore. Chalky Tracer gets away.
Chalky Tracer gets away. I'm happy that was sticking. I'm satisfied with what I've already achieved in my casting career. Next one is looking like it's going to be Rialto. We've seen the Pharah's getting a lot of value, especially the one from Nefago. Would you expect it to come out again?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Rialto, I think Farah is on this map specifically, Farah does have a lot of prevalence with how high the skyboxes are and how you can play around geometry and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So at the second point, that value starts to diminish slightly. Especially at the third point, it becomes very difficult. Let's see.
I think we're going to take a 5-minute break.
It 5-minute break look like that. So that is at the very least that a thing. So we're going to be talking some more Rialto and Farah play in just a minute. So a 5-minute break for Asteria and 5-minute break. See you in a minute.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge!
Oh! Kill!
Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played. Competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then two captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
Hello and welcome back to Elo Hell's Get Good Season 4.5, where we're still watching Asteria versus 5-minute break. I'm still your paper playcaster W. With me is the wonderful Kenobi as the color caster, and yeah, we're going into Rialto.
Yeah, so Rialto, we talked about a little bit. Is it going to be a map where we're going to see some Pharah? I definitely think so. It's a map that's always kind of been Pharah favored with the skybox that you have. and the ability to use those buildings on point A specifically to kind of fly around. So for the first 2 points, I think it's very favored, and then when you get to the second point, it's not as much because it gets to an enclosed area, but I think it's not that bad of a fair map.
It is very much not a bad Pharah map, but that also can potentially. I do apologize. A lot of water. Stay hydrated, folks. Just everyone stay hydrated.
Hydro homies.
Yeah. Is it what? that is the first time I heard.
Wait. You've never been to the Hydro Homies subreddit?
The Hydro Homies? No.
Hydro Homies? Okay. You need to, after we're done with this, go look up Hydro Homies.
We'll make a note to do that when it is my morning, which technically it already is. So, good morning,
it's about to be
EU.
my morning in 1 hour, so.
Okay. It's 5 a.m. for me, so hi, EU. Every early worker. But yes, that will possibly bring out the Widowmakers, which
that is also
makes me excited.
That is also something that we could see because you do have some really good sight lines on Widow. You can also use the buildings in your grapple to use that grapple shot and try and get some picks that way. McCree also, you can probably see. Mei definitely, because Mei is arguably the best character in the game right now, hasn't really been touched by a lot of nerfs recently. Hopefully that changes because I think Mei is way too strong, and I don't like playing against a Mei, especially as a Reinhardt player, where I just get walled and frozen, and I'm like, I can't play the game. I die. Oops.
Yep. It's like I might as well just let my keyboard and mouse go. It's the same amount of effect that you get. The constants being primarily the Mei and the Reinhardt, with mostly the Diva, but we're seeing some Zaryas coming on through.
Yep. Yeah, we see some Zaryas as well, and we've kind of talked about it a little bit, talked it to death, like, is it good? Is it, how does it deal against the Diva? What does it compare? And I think you do have some options where it is better, where you do have bubble and you can pump out a lot more DPS, I guess, if you're getting charged as a Zarya than the Diva, but the Diva just has way too much mobility to really just make me think that you should forego it for something like a Zarya.
I mean, I think it could work in that aggressive comp, which we saw for a bit with Brigitte as well, or maybe with Lucio Zen to just go full aggro.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. But Zen's another hero that is also kind of seen a little bit more, not as much play as we're used to seeing of him. He's been a character who's seen a lot of value, in GOATs, for instance. That was Zen was pretty important, and in Dive as well, you saw some Zenyatta as well. So I think Zenyatta's not in really the greatest place right now to be played, especially in this meta.
Yeah, he was not. He was for short amount just before Overwatch League started, a bit available with Batiste Zen, but that was mostly
for like double shield, where it's like you want to break shield very quickly, and Zenyatta does a really good job of breaking shield because you can throw your orbs on people and then just forget about it, and then just hit your right clicks and break shield that way along with Baptiste. So I think with these two compositions that we're seeing now, we are going to be seeing the Pharah coming out from 5-minute break on the offense, so that definitely makes sense, especially on Rialto. Taco Guy gonna be on that McCree to try and put some pressure onto the Pharah, but isn't able to do so as Nefego gets the better of him at the start.
That is the same as we saw on Ilios OL, in Nefego being able to identify that McCree early on and get the pick off as the rest of the team starts pushing on through. Rafola the next to drop. Asteria just kind of trying to stay alive and just rotate back around. They're gonna take a defensive position at the arch.
Yeah, Asteria is going to be able to get one more recontest onto this payload, especially now that Stofu is dead, and they are going to have that Mercy available to heal the Pharah, so this should be Asteria's moment to go in and play a little bit more aggressive, but not that aggressive.
Especially with that wall, Raven does manage to get one pick off, but they already have lost two. Nefego, once again with the pick up to Taco Guy, really not wanting to leave that McCree alive.
But this is an interesting position here, Belly. Now the respawns for Asteria are closer than the ones for 5-minute break, if not, unless they're just basically even, where you could argue that as well. But it's not really an offensive spawn advantage anymore for Asteria. So these fights have to be drawn out, and they're going to have to get the picks that they need to win these fights. Mythical Cat has this nano, and so does Absol. But the main thing here, Revan has this Blizzard, and we've seen before it can get quite a bit of value.
And that is absolutely the case. Barrage, as you say, at the ready, and that is red comes on through, finds two before Nefego gives up their life for it. The rest comes on through, usually the death sentence that you see for the Pharah. The Nano actually going to be invested onto Taco Guy, who's not going to find that much value for it. In fact, is going to get frozen, and that is first point taken by 5-minute break.
Yeah, we see Abyss Walker is going to be on that soldier, and while I think the idea of having 2 hit scan against Asteria makes sense in principle, I mean, it doesn't matter now because Nefego has just switched over to the McCree, so there is no Pharah at all, but they've at least they've made Nefego swap off the Pharah. Now Abyss Walker should realistically switch himself onto something because double hit scan isn't going to really do anything against the comp from 5-minute break, so he's going to switch over to the Mei, and they're going to have a mirror composition here.
Mirror composition here as the teams are starting to go forward. That is one bomb already invested. Is gonna pick up Taco Guy. The counter shatter is gonna pick up 2 more, and that is where Asteria starts to turn this one around once again, looking very good in that back foot fight. As we have the McCree of Nefego almost already at that ultimate, and now just not really managing to get that much value for it just yet. 5-minute break, pulling back.
We see here 5-minute break. Oh, that's a really nice wall though from Abyss Walker, and they aren't going to be able to get out without costing themselves their lives. So it's going to be Asteria winning that fight and winning it pretty handedly as well. But 5-minute break is coming back with ultimates to use. They have Nano. They also have that Blizzard again from Revan that he can use. Abyss Walker not close to his enough just yet, but they are going to have Magic Turtle, who has this sound barrier that can negate some of the damage coming out from the Blizzard.
That's going to be an important one. We already see Magic Turtle in the outline on the wall as the fight now happening on the high ground. An advantage of a 5-minute break, but the wall is going to pull a bit away. Rafola going with a very aggressive charge, gets Revan out of the fight. Gizmo though gets the trade. High Noon in the backline, and Nano onto the Reinhardt. As Nefego doesn't really find much with the High Noon. And Mythical Cat will get the res off, so now I've got the Reinhardt back to start pushing the front line once again. The Shatter looking good. Nice block from Carton Cake at the very least, but the damage has already been done.
We see here, it's going to be Asteria still winning these fights, and 5-minute break have been stalled here, Belly. Haven't really been able to get a lot of things done here, and now they've let Asteria farm up more of their ultimates. Abyss Walker has this Blizzard, so it's going to be a Blizzard versus Blizzard fight, and still Magic Turtle is in the lead when it comes to that sound barrier charge, which means that Asteria has the advantage when it comes to sustaining through something like that Blizzard.
Absolutely. Both of the Blizzards available, what I like to call the Venn diagram of death that we might be seeing pretty soon coming on out. The wall not finding anything. It is indeed eaten. Hoxton with a great eat there. Nefego is going to get Magic Turtle and the bomb. Hoxton going huge with these plays.
Oh.
But Gizmo with the counter bomb. And this is what we love to see in these games. So many kills, and Abyss Walker with another kill from the Blizzard itself. Asteria will still hold on to the point.
Oh, and Nefego actually is able to get the kill on the Abyss Walker. Abyss Walker unfortunately had to reload and wasn't able to get the kill on the Nefego, but it is going to still be Asteria holding here. Actually, Nefego canceled the res. That's huge.
That is so huge. Now there's going to be so much time that you're going to need to get those players back, as a 5-minute break is already coming in for the recontest. Oxen back in a mech on the high ground, pumping out a fair bit of damage. The Shatter gets blocked and denied completely, but not the one from Rafola. That one connects. The stand barrier giving everyone that extra bit of health, but enough for Carton's Cake to push on back through. Rafola already down. The rest comes on through. The Reinhardt now in the back line. Nefego looking a bit rough here with the Reinhardt in his back. As Taco Guy manages to get the Mei out of the fight. The High Noon in the backline picking up 2 more. Asteria looking strong on their defense.
Asteria holding very strong. 5 Minute Break hasn't had any progress since they've gotten the card to this point here. Belly and 2 seconds left. I don't even think they're going to be able to touch. They won't. And it's going to be 5 Minute Break held here about halfway towards that second point. Asteria putting up a hell of a defense.
Really hell of a defense, but this can turn around on a dime. And teams favoring either offense or defense. And who knows how this might turn out. That was a very good hold from Asteria.
We see here. I wonder what they're going to bring out on the offensive here. Are we going to see Farah from Asteria? Because we saw that from 5 Minute Break where they brought out the Farah on their offense and kind of just foregoed it after the switch to double hit scan, which I understand to some degree, but I think you never go full double hit scan, right? Never go full counter the Farah, because there's other things you have to worry about as well.
Oh yeah, like if you go full counter Farah, then your front line is suddenly not as strong to push into, and their front line can push into yours. But it looks like we might be seeing more Farah, though without a Mercy question mark.
I hope not. Okay, please, yeah, don't. If they play Farah without the Mercy, I've kind of just given up on, retire me now, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, so it is the May Revan back on the Hanzo. Seems like more comfort pick coming through here, actually. On the other side, we never know because it's the attacking side.
Well, that's just a asking to be caster first right there. If it is going to be the Ashe, interesting choice, because they're probably thinking that there's going to be something like a Farah, but then it's easy for the offensive team to just switch off of it once they see that there isn't one, so they can switch to something like a May. But it actually looks like they are coming out with this composition, so the Roadhog and the Reinhardt. Interesting choice here, Bill.
I have a few questions, but I mean, if it works out, it works out. Hook doesn't connect, gets blocked very well, but the anti-nade is already huge. Carton's Cake has to play defensively at the moment. Revan already dropping quite low. The Immortality Field keeping everyone just perfectly fine as they are completely topped up. That one's going to get taken out, so now 25 seconds on that cooldown. Rafola dropping a bit low. A lot of AoE healing coming on through, and that is where a hook comes on through. Revan just ever so slightly Hoxton on the side gets that initial pick, and this is where Asteria start pushing on further. The next hook not really hitting, but 5 Minute Break already on the back foot, and now pulling back to the chokehold.
So with this composition from Asteria, a lot of this pressure is going to be here on Gizmo. Is Gizmo going to be able to eat and negate the damage from these hook combinations and try to stop the one-shot? Because there you saw what happens when they didn't. Revan goes down very early in that fight. They lose a lot of DPS, and Asteria can just run through. And also, Abysswalker is getting a ton of value with this Bob.
A whole lot of value, but Bob already down, and this is now where the Blizzard gets invested. The Shatter gets blocked as well. As Sofola, even with the nano on him, is now completely frozen up and will get focused down. And now 5 Minute Break with the advantage, though, as I say that Abysswalker gets Revan, the Shatter to confirm this fight. Magic Turtle will also not be long for the world. Abysswalker still in the back line, though.
He's still getting kills, too, as well. I don't know if it's going to be enough for them to fully stop this push from as Nefego just goes in with that May. And this is where I would probably like to see Asteria make some swaps towards a more standard composition here. Whole Hog realistically isn't going to get a lot of value. You could just swap to Diva and go one-on-one. And Abysswalker, while he's going to get another Bob, you saw Bob get melted very quickly in that last fight. I really would like to see something like a May instead. Yeah,
May would probably work a bit better, as we have the next push coming on through. The Roadhog trying to poke away a bit, but we've got Carton's Cake just taking a nice hold here up front. Nefego with the opening pick, and now we hear the Dragon picking up 2. Everyone in close quarters. Immortality Field not good enough to keep everyone alive. A 5 Minute Break will still hold on to the point with 1 minute 20 seconds left.
This isn't looking very good here for Asteria. They are being held with 1 minute and 20 seconds left, like you mentioned, and this composition choice has just not worked out in their favor whatsoever. 5 Minute Break just seemed to have a full, just have a stranglehold on the matchup right now. Asteria have to make these ultimates work.
Really do, and with 1 minute on the clock, it's gonna slowly start to get to the make or break situation. Hook doesn't connect. Bomb gonna go into the backline. Nothing really to block it, but apart from the immortality field, which does do a lot. Rafol already down. Hoxton trying to stay alive is not going to be able to. And Nano now onto the Hanzo. Taco Guy taking a lot of damage. Going to get taken out by the Mora Orb as 5-minute break will once more hold on.
Yeah, I don't know about that one either. And now Hoxton has decided that he's going to play the Diva. And unfortunately, it might just be a little bit too little too late, Belly, as only 30 seconds left. They're going to get this one last fight. Taco Guy, Abyss Walker, and Magic Turtle have their ultimates, but 5-minute break have ultimates of their own, mainly support ones. It's going to be very difficult here for Asteria to win this fight.
Well, they're already starting with a Bob. The Shatter gets blocked, and now the Dragon is kind of split the teams off from each other. Amplification Matrix coming on through, and a nice fire strike to take Absol out of the fight, but is that enough? No, 5-minute break as it's going aggressive off of the value that they've already gotten. Rafola taking Cardinals Cake for a ride, way into the backline. Super jump res. It's not gonna be going off overtime. It's gonna be burning down, and that is now 5-minute break, picking up their first map, and once again we have a series.
Yeah, we have a series, but I'm just confused as the composition choices from Asteria. They're not really picking a composition that had a win condition. I guess the win condition was you get a hook and that's how you're going to win, but you have no Mei, you have the Ashe, which really doesn't do anything against this type of composition. And yeah, some question marks about the team comps from Asteria in that last in their first offense.
It was absolutely a bit questionable. I mean, as I said when it came out, I have a few questions. What I don't have questions about, however, is the fact that we are going to take a short break to set up a new lobby, get some stuff fixed. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge! Oh no! Kill! Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played, competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then 2 captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
Hello and welcome back to Elahell's Get Good Season 4.5. I am still BellyOW. With me is Kenobi as we move into Temple of Anubis, where Asteria and 5 Minute Break are still fighting it off with a 1v1.
So we didn't see this map in our last series. Instead, we saw, I believe it was, what was the map?
Hanamura.
Hanamura was the map, and it
Yes.
was a very long and drawn out Hanamura, which you can also see in Temple of Anubis. So maybe we'll see that, maybe we won't. But what I'm interested to see is these compositions again. Are we going to see more Zarya? Is that something that's going to stick onto maps that are like this? It doesn't look like it so far, at least from the defensive end, where we're going to see Asteria running pretty much. This is standard composition right now for Asteria, where they're going to be running the meta comp with the McCree and the Mei. On the other side for 5 Minute Break, I'm interested to see if that Hanzo pick goes through, because Mei is almost essential in a lot of these compositions, Belly, and not having it I think it's a little bit detrimental to your team.
And I would absolutely agree. Maybe you can get some good burst damage done, but putting everything on that when the enemy team has got a Mei, it's gonna be a difficult fight for you.
Definitely will be, and it looks like they aren't going to opt for the Mei here, so it's going to be the Hanzo and the McCree, as we're going to be seeing here. 5 Minute Break going to rotate through this mini room at the lower ground. There's a nice wall, though, to split off some of the members.
That is a very good wall. We've got the Hanzo pumping out a bit of damage as the rotation comes on through the high ground, where the Ana is positioned from Asteria. Mythical Cat dropping down, so Asteria taking some good space back down on the point. Now the job is to drop down at the right moment and together, as Carnage Cake is already losing the shield, taking a lot of damage. In Claymore on the side, we see the Diva of Hoxton trying to push back on that. The charge's not going to find that much, but now the wall off, Carnage Cake away from the team. The Ruby will follow up for it, and it's a bit of a poke war that we're seeing right now, Kenobi.
A lot of posturing, but there, finally, Carton's Cake is going to head down to the low ground here, so we're going to get a fight soon. Taco Guy getting taken out by Nefego. That's a big pick at the start.
That is one that we've seen before. Takuga already out, as you mentioned. Rafola, that extra drop, and Nano onto Carnage Cake is going to make that Reinhardt a force to be reckoned with, and Asteria is kind of just pulling back.
Asteria gonna have to pull back to their defensive spawns here, and that fight, even though it was drawn out, not a lot of ultimates farmed up that quickly here, Belly. The closest one that we're gonna have is Nefego, who is getting close towards that Deadeye. Should probably have it for this next fight, but besides that, not a lot. Usually that 80% is when you can say that they're gonna have it for next fight. Abysswalker is the closest right now. He's very close towards his Mei Blizzard, which is, like we talk about, one of those ultimates that can win fights outright by themselves.
Absolutely, as there it is where it comes on up. Now an anti-nade onto Carton's Cake, barely any health left, no health left as the Blizzard comes on through. Nefego does manage to get a trade, actually managed to get both supports. Gizmo sees the opening and is pushing on further, but nope, that is just a bit too much. Mei is still freezing the backline, and we've got a bit of a pause as a disconnect has happened.
Looks like we have a disconnect from our new member, Claymore, on 5 Minute Break. And, I mean, didn't look like 5 Minute Break was going to win that fight anyway, so they're going to have to retreat back to their spawn. And Asteria here that was a really well-placed Mei ult from Abysswalker. It really was the thing that stopped 5 Minute Break from pushing onto that second point. And that's kind of the thing that I'm talking about, where, difference between having a Mei and not having a Mei. Blizzard is just one of the best ultimates in the game right now, and one of the really only ways to counter Blizzard is having a support ult or having it eaten by the Diva, or using a Blizzard of your own so that the enemy team can't follow up onto your own Blizzard. That's kind of what the best counters right now are to Mei.
Yeah, those are basically the only things that you can really do against it. Now, also talking about Claymore, are a disconnected DPS. Losing out on that dragon, because that is that ultimate charge bar completely gone.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, but sometimes technology just isn't in your favor. My computer sometimes just dies for random reasons, or I update an Adobe program and my computer just hates itself. Like, it happens sometimes. You can't.
It does happen. Everyone who has played the game knows it, and you're
sometimes sometimes you just DC from a game, you lose 50 SR, and you're like, well, oh, I want to get back and try and get my back SR. Nope, you have a 10-minute you have a 10-minute
Yep.
Q lock. So
Yep.
I've been there. Everyone's been there.
It's
It's
okay.
unfortunate.
So, question: have you ever had the moment? Because I've had this moment where the game goes, "I have found you a game," but it
Right.
doesn't tell you yet. So you still have that cancel button at the top of your screen. And so you click the cancel button, and the game goes, "No, but I found you a game." So
Oh, okay. So
you're leaving the
you're
game
staying there.
now.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so you never joined the game, but you left the game, so you lose 50 SR and are banned for 10 minutes. It's so great. Wonderful.
That's a I've encountered that once before, and then I was like, you know what? I think I'm done playing Overwatch tonight.
Exactly. And out of pause is going to be ending, and Claymore coming back, still going for that Hanzo as Taco Guy does some cleanup.
Still, no May here for the side of 5-minute break, but that's the bed that they're making and sleeping in right now. And Asteria going to be holding onto this defense here. They have ultimates to work with. They're going to have the Nano. They're going to have the Soundbarrier as well, but so will 5-minute break. But it's going to be interesting to see, are any of these ultimates going to be comboed? You know, are we going to see something like a Shatter Self-Destruct, something that's been gaining prevalence a lot more recently?
Maybe we will see. It used to be pretty good combo. Unfortunately, I've not seen that much in this meta. The wall is walling off the team, burning off a bit of time off the clock, because we're already losing a fair chunk of health here as the rotation comes through the side, looking to get some nice effects in. That is the bomb. Will the shatter be there? Nope, everyone's just kind of on different sides. Claymore picks up an early pick on Taco Guy. Now the shatter from Rafola, however. Counter shatter from Cardin's Cake, and it's the shatters all about Rafola dropping down. So Hoxton is just going straight face first into the enemy team. High Noon from the backline is going to pick up a few more. As Cardin's Cake takes a bit of a nap onto the point. One tick already given up as stacker picks coming through.
And we still see here Asteria have ultimates though. If they come back and recontest, there is the Hammond just trying its best to stall for time as best they can. They aren't able to do so. There is a kill on the Stofu. That's a pretty big pick.
That is a huge pick. As we mentioned before, no speed boost available. A nice flashbang onto Cardin's Cake as Hoxton is trying to do whatever they can. Blizzard straight on the point for Asteria. Dragon across to try and do anything, but Claymore is only going to give up his life and not find any extra value. The second tick looks like it's not going to be given up by Asteria just yet.
That was a really good stall there from Asteria. They were able to negate stop the bleeding rather, and not lose any more than just the one tick. And well played from Abyss Walker to freeze that Diva and then use the Blizzard to basically guarantee yourself that it's not going to get eaten, because that Blizzard was really the thing that turned the tides in that fight and made sure that Asteria was going to be able to hold that defense. So 5-minute break, going to come back in, trying again to get this, or get more than just that one tick this time. Shatter going to be available for Cardin Cake, Nano as well. So this is going to be a tanky Reinhardt if the Nano goes onto him.
Be a very tanky Reinhardt. Asteria already seeing this rotation coming on through, taking some aggressive stance. Cardin Cake's going to get flashbanged ever so slightly. Nice eat on the fire strike. A lot of value that can be gotten from that, as that is where the Nano comes on through. Looking for that shatter, going aggressive. The shield up, that is where the shield is down. That is a nice shatter to start following this up on through. Hoxton is going straight onto that point, getting taken out. We're gonna be soon seeing that second tick given up. Magic Turtle is the next one to drop. We see once more the Hammond coming on through, but a nice charge to deny that space, and that is now the full push.
And the thing that I think 5-minute break has been offered with this Hanzo instead of something like a Mei is you have a pretty good amount of shield break with the Hanzo, and there you saw it was really good in terms of breaking that Reinhardt shield, playing very aggressive into it, and then being able to use that shatter to clean up that fight and take it down. And now 5-minute break, finish that map with 1 minute and 43 seconds. Not too bad of a time bank, especially on a map where sometimes finishing it is even difficult by itself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, after that Rialto map, and Asteria now has to go for their own attack, I'm wondering whether they're going for something similarly unorthodox.
I mean, for their sake, I'd hope not, because it didn't work out well at all.
It did not. I'm still wondering where that choice came from, but no, it does look like it's going to be generally the same thing, though I am seeing a Symmetra, and I'm wondering whether that's going to stick.
It looks like it is because this is well, maybe it's going to be the Symmetra to teleport them onto the high ground and then go back and switch to something else. But we're gonna have to see. Nope, it's just gonna be the McCree. Okay, we got you baited. Haha, very funny 5-minute break. They're gonna be going to the Mei. Finally, Claymore's gonna be off the Hanzo, so now we're gonna have a Mei v Mei battle. The interesting thing here about what Asteria is gonna run here is they're gonna be running this Moira. If they do, I'm interested to see how it's going to react against something like this composition from 5-minute break, because there is the Ana, which you have to really respect here, because if Ana hits a huge nade, that negates a lot of what Moira is about. So look out for Hoxton and Rafola to negate these anti-nades.
That's what you really want to see, as a wall off already make sure that the Diva cannot stay with the rest of the team. 5-minute break rotating into the Mega Health Pack room. That's another good wall that doesn't really find anything, unfortunately. In the Fago, it is Taco Cat first to drop once more. And this is where 5-minute break just break apart Asteria.
Good defense there already from 5-minute break. As you can see, farming some ultimates up a lot quicker than Asteria. The good thing for Asteria, though, is that Mythical Cat, with all the damage that's coming in from 5-minute break, excuse me, should be able to farm up Coalescence very quickly. And Coalescence is an ultimate where you can push aggressively onto an enemy team, and if they aren't ready for it, they will end up getting blown up with the sustain and the damage.
Need to be able to rotate well for that. A nice flashbang to stun 3 people as Cardin's Cake just goes heavy into the backline. Hoxton already demeched as the freeze comes on through on Rafola, and this is now where that Coalescence is here. As a 5-minute break, this kind of rotate away from it, avoiding a fair chunk of the damage. As we see the Moira still trying to go in, a nice eat on the damage.
Oh, big shatter.
Huge shatter. Soundbarrier gets invested as well. So that's a big investment to still hold on to this point. Nefego has swapped to the Doomfist, but they will hold on to it.
Now, I'm not sure if they needed that sound barrier actually, but better safe than sorry, as you're right. Nefego coming back on the Doomfist just to try and get back to the point as fast as they can, and Asteria gonna have to try again and push through this point A. They're gonna have the Blizzard, but so is Claymore, and they're gonna have that Venn diagram of death, as you mentioned, Belly. No support ultimates to deal with either of them.
No support ultimates indeed. As Asteria are going for their next attempt. Once again going main, just speed boosting on through. The wall, however, is going to take a Beastwalker out of the fight, but Nefego is going to take a fight with a McCree. That's not going to be a happy time. Gizmo, though, with the bomber, Fola trying to go for the charge. He's going to pay with his life. High Noon hearing from the back line, as that does not find anything, but just a shot to the face will get the Lucio out of this fight. As we have Taco Guy in the middle of the point, still finding value. Cardin's Cake trying to do whatever he can. The Moira also taken out, and now we only have a Mei available on the point, and not for long.
And I don't think actually Asteria is going to be able to get back to this point here. It's going, or rather, I don't think 5-minute break is going to be able to get back to this point. It's Asteria who's going to be taking this one, and now have a fresh 4-minute time bank to try and take point B here. Belly, Mistwalker has switched back over to the Mei, but Claymore has been on it a little bit longer, so that means at some point Claymore is going to have the advantage when it comes to Blizzard Charge.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, and that is going to be a difficult fight for Asteria to push into, as they are still waiting out their reinforcements to come in, opting to go for the right side approach. Just taking the right lane and then going for main, as both of the walls are up, and the Coalescence gets invested already from Mythical Cat, but the Fago with those early picks over and over. A second one onto Hoxton. The McCree going insane at the moment, picking up 3 for his team and opening up that fight and going for the 4th.
Nefego popping off here on this McCree. We've seen flashes a bit from this player, as you know, can bring out some really good moments and some pop-off moments. We saw on the McCree a little bit on Control. We saw with the Farah as well, so he really clutches it out for his team there. And again, Claymore has this Blizzard way faster than Abyss Walker does, so it is going to be difficult for Asteria to walk into this point.
With 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, that is going to be a fair bit of time that you can still burn off that clock. It's going to be a big fight coming on through. As the rotation comes in, 5-minute break is counting this out. Abyss Walker in nice wall, but the Blizzard has now been invested. Abyss Walker already down. The charge comes on through. High Noon gets invested as well. The 5-minute break will once again hold on to this, and now with a stagger onto a few late stayers.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately for Asteria, you kind of have to take that one on the chin because of the fact that the Blizzard was just there way much sooner than you expected, and Hoxton is going to get very staggered here. They actually, I wonder, oh, they're going to kill him right now, so that's so much time. A beautiful, beautiful stagger there from 5-minute break to make sure that they're taking as much time away from Asteria and as much time away from Hoxton as well.
It should give him enough time to, at the very least, equal and lower the time bank of Asteria. So, next fight is still a fair bit coming up, Kenobi.
You see here, this time it's Abyss Walker who has the advantage with that Blizzard. They can play aggressively here. There it goes, not eaten. There's the support ultimate, the sound barrier just in time.
Oh no, the bomb was just to the side. The shatter comes in through. Rafola picking up a few on the floor, but the counter shatter, he's not allowed to pick up the kills just yet. The Reiner will get taken out, but so will the one of Garden's Cake. And this is now where the trades are gonna start coming on through, and we're gonna see the stagger fight happening pretty soon. Gizmo back on the Divas, gonna get frozen, gonna get booped.
They can't even get on! They can't even get on Belly, and it's going to be Asteria capping this second point here with 1 minute and 6 seconds left. So not too much less time than 5-minute break had, but it's going to be 5-minute break who is going to be defending first now. And it's going to be Asteria who's going to be attacking first because they had the lesser time bank.
Yes, and I mean, there is a difference in time bank, but I mean, in Overwatch times, that is a difference of, well, kind of
about one
push.
fight. One fight,
Yeah.
one push, basically, is the difference here between Asteria and 5-minute break here, as we're going to be seeing what these teams... I wouldn't expect much to change in terms of what these teams have been bringing to the table so far. May, obviously, a staple. McCree seems to be a staple as well. Diva, Ryan, Lucio, Ana. It's the meta comp. It's the best comp in the game, so that's what we're seeing.
If you want to win, do the things that winners do. We're just running this comp, though I am seeing at the moment a tease of Batiste. I'm wondering whether that one will stick.
I do too, because you only realistically hear for Asteria if this first fight lasts long, and these fights seem to have a lot of long-lasting fights because of just the amount of sustain you have and the brawl potential. You only get really this one fight, and you can maybe get a second one if 5-minute break wins quick enough or you win quick enough, but it looks like they are going to bring out the Baptiste, an interesting choice here instead of something like a Moira or an Ana.
A very interesting choice, and the mentality feels still quite strong, but you gotta be able to use it at the right moment. And Nefego's gonna use his gun at the right moment as Takagai once again the first to drop to the McCree of Nefego, and a second one for the Cowboy in red. As Asteria is having some trouble with 30 seconds left, it's gonna be a quick second fight, otherwise it's done.
Oh, and they're gonna be able to stagger Hoxton again like they did before for a very long time, so Hoxton might not even be able to get back to the rest of his team. They kill him just in time, but this is for sure, Belly, going to be the last fight that Asteria has. No ultimates to speak of for them, whereas for 5-minute break, Claymore very close towards that May Blizzard.
And with that first pick already grabbed, Magic Turtle is trying to just contest the point. Hoxton has swapped off to the Hammond instead of the Diva just to try and get back to the point. Hoxton trying to swing around, but the May is going to make sure that the hamster ball is not going to be able to hamster ball for much longer. Blizzard going to get invested on the point. Takaga, however, finally gets Nefego, but overtime wick and burning down, and that will be 5-minute break holding on to point A. Which means that they, at the very least, cannot lose this.
Yeah, you just need the one tick here if you're 5-minute break. So minute 43 seconds, you get a couple of fights to do that. And right now for Asteria, you're just playing for a draw, and you're going to be playing the same composition you've always been playing with the May. I would assume. I'm not sure why they would change anything at the moment. Maybe they saw, maybe not the Baptiste, because I think the Baptiste really didn't do much at all because they had some weird rotations. So not sure.
If you want the AoE healing, then Namora is just the stronger
Yeah.
as well with the ultimate. So I've also once again kind of have questions.
So they're gonna be bringing out the Mercy. No, okay, it's the Ana. Okay, I was gonna be like the Mercy. Maybe they're gonna have the Widowmaker and try and just pocket the Widow and have it pop off that way. But nope, bring out the Ana instead with the Moira. So a lot of healing with this composition right now for Asteria. They just aren't. The only thing they're not going to have is they're not going to have the Lucio to speed and rotate around quickly. So if they get caught out by any of these walls from Claymore, it's going to be very difficult for them to speed around that and rotate.
Like getting your way out of a tricky situation with a Lucio, that is a very much an important factor of these fights, as 5-minute break is looking to attack this with a very meta composition. Essentially just taking the same road as Asteria has, going through the mini health back though. A nice wall, and Carnage Cake already taken down. They're gonna have to pull back on this immediately.
Yeah, really well placed wall there from Abyss Walker, sectioning off the members, and then a really nice flashbang as well from Taco Guy, who was able to stun the Reinhardt and make sure he blew up immediately. So it is going to be 5-minute break taking this first defense, or first offense again. But Hoxton very aggressive here on the Diva, is going to go down.
Was looking for Nefago as he was on the high ground, and Nefago is going to punish you for that one. So already have 2 picks here on the point. 1 tick needed. Is looking like this is in the bag for 5-minute break as they start cleaning up. The point percentage is ticking up, and as the Ana comes on through, that is a 5-minute break, capturing this point and picking up their second point for this series.
Yeah, it started so well for Asteria on that defense where they had a really nice wall placement to section off members of 5-minute break. But then Hoxton very over aggressive on that Diva and ended up going down. And once that Diva went down, 5-minute break knew they had the advantage because they had the respawns. If anything disastrous happened, they would be able to get there sooner. So Hoxton would have liked to have seen it reel it back just a little bit, not go too aggressive for those kills.
I can get where he was coming from. Like, you had Nefago, who was the only one who rotated to the high ground, as the rest of the team fell back. And yeah, you want to get that kill, but by that time the reinforcements were there, and it was too late. Though I do kind of want to bring that up. Nefago and Taco Guy, both of them good players. Just Nefago seems to get those early picks, and somehow primarily on Taco Guy.
Yeah, Nefago seems to be winning the 1v1 a lot, and Nefago just seems like a really good player in terms of just his mechanical skill. And we've seen a lot of pop-off moments from Nefago, not as much from Taco Guys, so he seems more of that, like, Carrie McCree type of player that we've seen sometime in Overwatch League, as we're going to be going into our 3rd map, I believe, or was that the 3rd map?
This will be our 4th map.
4th map. Okay, I can't
yes.
count. I am. It's starting to get late here. I mean, I'm saying it's starting to get late here. It's like early in the morning for you, so I really shouldn't be complaining.
I mean, if you're tired, you're tired, and that is all fine, and we don't judge. I genuinely don't, and I've been tired this whole time, so I'm actually surprised I'm still saying the correct words.
You've been doing very good so far, Belly.
I'm very happy to hear that. But the next map makes me excited. It is what is heavily dubbed as King's Row, the British map. I love it. I just love
it's the map that I think that if you asked anyone, like if you asked everyone in Overwatch, like what's your favorite map, if you polled them, you would probably say that, like most people would say, oh, it's King's Row. King's Row is like the map that everyone loves to play. It's Scrims Row because everyone scrims on it as well. So this is probably my favorite. I mean, it's for me my favorite map for sure, and I think most of the community's favorite map as well.
Oh yeah, go to I'm pretty sure any PUG server, PUG evening, whichever, and map 1, game 1, King's Row. It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like, don't even need to speak with the captains. It's gonna be King's Row.
We're just playing King's Row. It's no one's complained about King's Row. That's the thing as well. No one has like complaints.
Why would you complain about King's Row though? It's so
Yeah,
good.
I don't know. I think it's the best map in the game, at least for me. So
I agree. It's got nice little hallways and flanks that you can go through with a very clear path that you can take. To talk then about compositions, I'm expecting, well, more of the same, honestly. And I don't necessarily say that in a negative air.
yeah, I mean, it is just the best composition in the game right now, the one that we're running. So it's obvious that we're going to be seeing it, especially at this level where they're playing more towards the meta, it seems. And Asteria, this is, or rather, 5 minute break. This is match point for them. If you win, you take this W, and Asteria needs to bring out something to help them, because we saw that like one weird composition that they brought to the table, which was that like hog ash thing that just didn't work at all, and it was just weird.
Well, I don't know if stream can already see this, but what's also weird is this floating book
This
in the
floating
bookstore.
book. Hey, I
I'm
mean, it's
very
2050.
intrigued.
Anything can happen, you know?
Yep, floating books apparently among them. But Asteria, yeah, looking like they're a bit behind, and yeah, possibly also once again opting for this Zarya, which I would say if there's any map where Zarya could get a bit more value, it would be King's Row.
I could definitely agree with that, but again, we're gonna have to see, like, is the Zarya gonna get value against the Diva and stuff like that? So we're gonna have to see how it played out. It didn't play out that well last time we saw it. It was really Gizmo who had the upper hand in the off-tank battle, but this map, like you mentioned, it is a little bit more enclosed, and you can see some more value from a Zarya here.
It's more difficult to get out as gonna be seeing what the attacking side is gonna be running. And it is more of the same as I mentioned. Once again, not meant negatively. It's just what that meta is, as we have 5 minute break going for their initial attack. Nice wall to rotate around the statue. And it is now the poke bars that you get early on. These walls are not really going to provide that much as you're already past the choke. And now, kind of poking away from main. And Rafola, just a bit out of position, is gonna get forced out. The walls were just a bit too forceful, but now Taco Guy with the initial pick onto the Fago. I may have castle cursed that just ever so slightly, but they've already gotten 2 picks. Asteria trying to look for that recontest, and that is finally where it comes on through. We have 1 person on point. Still getting contested by that one. Lucius Hoxton picks up a counter. Now the nano on the Reinhardt. That is so much damage going to come through on the Zarya. There's going to be too much damage coming through on the Zarya. Rafola not long for this world, and Taco Guy is one of the last few left. 5 minute break will pick up the point.
Taco Guy using High Noon there. I'm pretty sure he's going to want to have that one back, but it's High Noon, so you get it relatively quickly, as we see Hoxton not farming that Zarya Graviton as quickly as I would have liked here. But the one thing that Asteria is doing and is farming a little bit faster than 5 minute break is Abyss Walker is going to have that Blizzard a little bit ahead of Claymore and Belly, like we've seen throughout a lot of these matches so far. If you have a Blizzard and the enemy team doesn't, that's usually a win for you.
And it usually is a win for you, though, keeping in mind that the Stofu also has the Sand Barrier ready, so that could be their saving grace for this next fight coming up, as Abyss Walker comes even closer to that Blizzard. It's going to be forced to ice block, as we've got a bit of a Tetris going on with some Maywalls. Cadence Cake looking for the block off to help his McCree. Will not find that much apart from possibly a broken shield. That's where a shatter comes through. Doesn't find anything. Cadence Cake taken down, and indeed Abyss Walker's Blizzard eaten by Gizmo. So no value there. The shatter gets the value for the shatter gets blocked by the wall, as 5 minute break are actually going to be pulling back.
That was actually a really good wall from Claymore, because that could have been a lot worse than it was, but now it's starting to get worse as the chase down is happening from Asteria. 5 minute break here. Going to have to go back to the drawing board. This time, they're going to have Blizzard advantage here, and one of the things I would like to see from them, maybe a Blizzard self-destruct combination, freeze that Reinhardt, make sure that he doesn't have a shield to eat or to block that damage from the self-destruct.
That would be a fun one to see, and a lot of value that you can get from that. Very good indeed on the Reaper. That is now where the Blizzard comes on through. Well, we see the bomb coming as well. Abyss Walker and Hoxton already down. Rafola does manage to get a nice fire strike. No more speed was available as he just goes aggressive. The anti-nade gonna make sure that he's not gonna be able to get away with that. And 5-minute break are eagerly pushing towards checkpoint B.
And again, this is one of those issues with having a Zarya instead of the D.Va here. These ults from Abyss Walker, or not from Abyss Walker, from Claymore, those they're going to be pretty free, as well as from Nefego too. He's going to get Death Blossom, and there's going to be nothing to eat it on the side of Asteria. So Hoxton going to have to make this Zarya grab get a lot of value and make sure it doesn't get eaten.
We've seen from previous games how that can work out. And as a 5-minute break are kind of taking a bit of a step back, a bit of a broken shield. That is now where the grab is here, as we have Nefego trying to get into the backline. The bomb on high ground, Rafola also down. We've got 2-for-1 deal as 5-minute break is starting to push aggressive. Abyss Walker's trying to stay alive, but the Mei will making sure that the Mei is not actually going to get out. They're going to invest in Nano just to make sure that Mei stays alive. The Blizzard onto everyone. Is it going to get frozen? Is there a follow-up? It looks like at the very least Gizmo has been demeched. 5-minute break on the back foot as Carton's Cake is trying to stay alive with the Nano Magic Turtle. A nice move. Another Blizzard is by this point available again. And Rafola frozen up, but no follow-up as the fight is still going on. The shatter is huge, and now finally the counter shatter. We're just trading everything at this point, Kenobi.
This fight is still going on though, Belly. It's been scrappy. It felt like it's lasted for 3 minutes, but finally there might be some respite here, and that really was saved by Mystical Cat and Abyss Walker there because of that nano made it threw the Blizzard out. It didn't get eaten, and that meant that there was enough damage and sustain for that Mei to get some of the kills and get some trades.
Well, maybe they'll find some there, and that is 2 great picks that you're gonna get from that Death Blossom. And now Asteria trying to rotate back. Rafola's not gonna be able to get out. Hoxton, however, does manage to get the Reaper, but the damage has already been done. You're now on the back foot, but no, Hoxton's trying to pull this back. A high charge Zarya, still a force to be reckoned with. Abyss Walker just trying to stall the point. The Nano is so big. The high noon comes in from the back line. Will find Absol. 5-minute breaks once again forced to pull back.
Really well placed nade there from Asteria, and they're able to hold again, and again they're gonna have advantage again, Belly, when it comes to that Blizzard. And as we know, Blizzard, one of those abilities that wins fights by itself. Hoxton again has this Graviton, doesn't necessarily get a lot of value in these fights, but it is something that can still be reckoned with. Very
much to be reckoned with. Nice hit on the fire strike to open to start this poke war off, as we have that much value. Magic also trying to go for the cheeky boop, doesn't find it, and we have Nefego a bit aggressive. It's gonna be Nano to keep him alive, forced to go back into the fight. The Sandbear invested as well, and he's gonna find value for it. Shadow comes in through, doesn't find anything, he's gonna get blocked. As Rafola still just goes aggressive together with that Graviton Surge. The Blizzard invested as well. Once again, 5-minute break, forced to go back to spawn.
Asteria putting up a hell of a defense, Belly, and 5-minute break. The time bank that they had running into this was pretty hefty, but now they're left with only a minute left, and with the point that the card is at right now, Asteria has the advantage when it comes to those defensive spawns. And this might be the last fight that 5-minute break is going to get. Blizzard is available to Claymore. No D.Va on the other side to eat it. No support ultimates, as well. Magic Turtle has to really drop the B here and get this quickly.
These last points on multiple maps are notoriously difficult to grab, but when you've got a Blizzard on the end point to just zone everything out, the Shatter, Taco Guy down, the anti as well onto Rafola, the D.Va bomb is gonna get nothing, but Nefego is gonna make sure that that is gonna get taken care of. 36 seconds on the clock, and it's cleanup time as they manage to get the full push down.
The ults were just too much there for Asteria to deal with in 5-minute break. Finally are able to cap, and win condition now set for them. You just need to hold them before this 3rd point. And again, Belly, we're gonna have to have this conversation a lot, but the Zarya, we only saw really one grab get a lot of value there. But again, we've seen a lot of times where 5-minute break, they don't have to worry about things like the Blizzard getting eaten. You saw in that last fight, Claymore just walks up to the enemy team and it's like, you don't have a diva. I can walk into you and throw my Blizzard in the position that I want to throw it in. And then that just, the house of cards falls after that. The Reinhardt has to back up. That means that Card and Cake can hit a free shatter onto some of the members of the backline. There's also a nade that comes in after that, and then there's a Death Blossom that cleans up the fight. So not having this diva just kind of really just makes it a lot harder for Asteria than it needs to be.
It very much does, but still they're opting what seems to be for the Zarya. Very adamant in still trying that. Maybe they'll still swap. It is the attacker side, so you never know. But you definitely see what a value that this diva can get, Kenobi.
We see here again Hoxton seeming like he's going to be he seems like he is going to be on that Zarya, so not opting for the diva, and everything else is staying relatively the same for both of these teams.
It definitely does, and gonna see whether the Zarya attack is going to provide more for them. Maybe the aggression will help for them, as it is a serious time to start their attack. We see Claymore in the side, just kind of hiding out with the Reaper. Nefego this time on the Mei, so that's a bit of a turnaround, as we have already that early pick onto Abyss Walker, though Garden's Cake is also down. It means no more main tank available. So 5-minute break are gonna have to play this a bit more back. Nefego with a nice wall, buying some extra time, as the Garden's Cake is gonna have to make their way back. Claymore teleporting there, and it's a bit of a poke rock, Kenobi.
And not too much happening right now. Cardin's Cake died very early in that fight, but luckily there was another pick on the other side to stop the entirety of Asteria from running into them. And Rafola, very aggressive there on that Reinhardt. His team was not with him, and he gets blown up almost immediately. So that's more time Asteria is going to lose on this push. And 5-minute break looking very good on the defense right now. Knifego, right?
Yes.
Nefego? Sorry, Nefego. Nefego, same thing, potato, but he's going to have the Blizzard now for this next fight. The Abyss Walker very close to his. He's going to have to get it in time to negate the one from Nefego.
Very much, and there is where it immediately comes on through. Doesn't really seem to fight much, and now I've got the double nano, the Goliath battle that we can get on the point. The Sand Barrets to keep everyone alive through this Blizzard. Claymore picking up 2, the Shatter comes in. But we've got Rafola just completely away from his team and is gonna get picked up for it. And even though Hoxton's got so much high charge, he's trying to get into the backline, trying to get that Ana. As the bomb comes in on main, that finds Magic Turtle. As 5-minute break is still pushing back at this. Abyss Walker trying to do whatever he can. A huge anti-nade, but it's too little too late.
Somehow, someway, 5-minute break is able to make that defense by Claymore going into the backline and taking down the backline by himself and making sure that the trades were even. And again, 5-minute break still find themselves in the lead when it comes to that ultimate charge. Claymore and Nefego have their ultimates. Hoxton has this Graviton Surge, but it's not going to get that much value, especially if Gizmo can eat it. So this is looking like a very good position for 5-minute break and not at all for Asteria.
Absolutely, and with a map point coming up here, this is to be a very difficult one. The Blizzard doesn't really manage to find much, but you don't need to if you just find the kills. Taco Guy has managed to get Claymore out of the fight, but the Reaper is gonna probably find his way back pretty soon.
Yeah, that wasn't a good Blizzard at all, but it didn't seem to matter for Asteria. They were able, or for 5-minute break rather, they were able to win that fight. But now Asteria is getting to the point where they're going to have a lot of ultimates and they're going to be able to use their, basically win through Q button, right? Is you have this Blizzard, you're going to have the Shatter as well. Graviton Surge from Hoxton has to finally be used to do something in this matchup, and luckily for 5-minute break, they have some defensive ultimates to negate this.
They do, and maybe that Blizzard was a zoning Blizzard, but that is where the Grav comes on through, and the Sand Barrier to negate it.
Oh!
I knew before! That is going to open it up. The Electrical Cowboy coming out clutch with 30 seconds on the clock. They're finally going to start capturing point A.
That was a really good boop, though, as well, from Magic Turtle, who booped the Reinhardt out of the way so that the Deadeye could get that 4K past the shield. And it's going to be Asteria finally capping this point where it looks pretty dire for them at the start.
Now with a nice wall already kind of getting Rafola out of position. It's 5-minute break taking a very aggressive position at this early choke. A nice one to have. The bomb straight up in the backline. Hoxton already down. A 5-minute break just not letting down.
No, they're keeping their pedal to the metal, and I really like how aggressive they are. They're not letting Asteria get on the cart and push it for free. They're pushing all the way to their spawn. And it looks like Asteria is going to have to come up with something to try and get unblocked from this position right now, because Blizzard's available for both teams and no support ultimates for both teams. Magic Turtle's the closest one towards that sound barrier, so we're going to have to see if he's going to be able to get it in time to negate the damage from this Blizzard.
5-minute break in a wonderful position now to hold this choke very well. Maywall's at the ready, and that is where it comes on through, along with the Blizzard. That is everyone frozen, but there we have that Venn diagram of death. Both of the Blizzards have been used, but the Fago picks up the earliest kill here. So both of the Reinhardts have been nanoed as well. Garden's Cake pulling back ever so slightly. The Shatters finding not that much. The one from Rafola just a bit more, but he needs to go so far to get the value. And a 5-minute break will hold on to this choke.
5-minute break still holding on. Claymore has this Death Blossom available to him. Again, still no D.Va in the backline, so Death Blossom means a lot more in this current matchup than it does if there was something like a D.Va, because D.Va can very easily eat it. Sound barrier available as well for both of these teams, and 1 minute left for Asteria. Luckily, they're going to have respawn advantage, so they are going to be able to win this fight off of the back of some traves, perhaps.
Perhaps indeed. We have once again this poke fight going on from the main choke that we have. 47 seconds on the clock as we have just straight up another Blizzard. This next fight coming on through. The sound barrier, is that going to be enough here? You heard the nano going off. It is on the D.Va as so much damage comes on through. Both the DPS for Asteria already out of the fight. A 5-minute break is looking good with just 25 seconds on the clock and holding out the choke still.
This is the last fight here that that Asteria is going to get. Luckily for them, ultimates at the ready for them, and they're going to have to use every single one of them because they don't have another shot at this. 5-minute break have some of their own as well to use. Let's see, Belly, who's going to get the better advantage.
We'll be seeing this in this fight here. It is going to be an overtime fight. Shatter has come through. 5-minute break on the floor, but the Sound Bears keep everyone alive. Mythical Cat now gone. No more main healer. Will it be enough? The Death Blossom in the backline. Nope, that's not going to do it. Takugai manages to get the pick off. High Noon will get the D-Mech here as well. Enough damage done. 5-minute break is going to have to pull back, but now it's overtime.
It's overtime, and they're able to keep their Blizzard and not use every single one of their ultimates, which is really important for them. They just use the Nano and the Shatter, so Asteria having some really good ultimate patience in that last fight, not throwing out everything in desperation. And 5-minute break are going to be able to come back and recontest at least once here. Let's see what this Blizzard from Abyss Walker can do.
Well, it's going to be the Graviton Surge. First, the Shatter, however, 2 people on the floor. They've already picked up 2 kills. It is both the Mei and the Ana, so a lot of healing and damage negated. But that Sound Barrier, so much survivability. 5-minute break now, once again, on the back foot. They know it's overtime. They want to bring this home. This is their match point to win. But Asteria still pushing aggressive. Takugai with another pick. That's going to make it even more difficult. 5-minute break can make it back with the stagger picks, but do they want to? It looks like they're going to be giving up this point.
And unfortunately for Nefago there, he completely whiffs his Mei ultimate. The Blizzard gets absolutely no value whatsoever, and the Asteria is able to win that fight because, Belly, if that Blizzard had hit and had hit in a good place where it was freezing the members of Asteria, they wouldn't have won that fight at all. That would have been a 5-minute break fight win, and they would have won this series easy peasy already. But now they're moving into this third point with more time than Asteria has at the moment. And
it is 30 seconds, but with that opening pick on the Abyss Walker and the Vrola, That's going to break it open completely for 5-minute break to keep holding on to this. We've got a Busio on our hands. That is probably a misaim that we've got there. However, who does not love seeing the Busio?
Well, the people probably on the team of whoever the Boostio is on probably doesn't like seeing Boostio too much. Maybe the guy who's boosted himself, but maybe even then it's just like, why is this on me? It could be on literally anyone else.
Panic, straight up panic. Well,
You see here, 30 seconds left. This is last fight here for Asteria. Are they going to be able to win it here, Belly?
that's the question. Is going to be the class champions. That is Blizzard that still zones off a lot of the team. Shadow comes through as well. The bomb to top it off. Claymore and Curtain's Cake with 2 picks of their own. But once again, Asteria is just trying to pull this back. Nefego gets a nice headshot and Icicle lobotomy to finish this off as Diana is the last one on point. 1 second to go. It is the Stagger picks. We've got the Hammond right there. Hoxton as well on the Zarya, having that Graviton surge at the ready.
Oh, it's
That is
Eden!
where it comes through. It's Eden! That is just so huge to completely negate this last fight. That was the only trump card they still had. Overtime is going to be starting to tick down as the Stagger picks are there. The Tracers, the Hammonds. We even have the Mercy back. Abyss Walker does manage to get 1 pick, but not for that much longer. It's going to be recalling the Winston as well. A nice anti onto the Lucio. Now I've got a Nano May as well. The Sand Barrier gets invested. Asteria knows this is all or nothing. Winston dropping solo. Another Blizzard available straight on the point. Is anyone even going to be able to make it? Yes, we still have people there. The bomb is going to be completely negated by the payload itself, pushing away the Hammond. Overtime ticks now. 5-minute break. Grab the victory.
5-minute break, take a 3-1 victory here, and they're going to take that win, series win rather, and off of the back of some really well played DPS play coming out from them, some tank play as well. And I really have to tip my hat to Nefego here on that May, really getting a ton of value as we see Taco Guy getting the play of the game here with that 4-man Deadeye.
Oh yeah, that was a wonderful play there, and some really great plays from both of these teams. It was a close match still, but only one can be the victor, which today was 5-minute break. Yeah, like these were some really great maps and really great games that we got to see, both in the beginner and this intermediate division, I would say.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, Billy. I had fun casting with you, and really glad that gitgud had these games today. It was really fun.
Oh yeah, I had a blast casting with you as well. It was, I would say it was an honor casting with you. It was really amazing to get this opportunity.
Thank you.
Still, sorry for Lebosco that he couldn't be there, but I mean, I had fun. So
I did too.
sorry, not sorry. No, I'm still sorry. So with that, indeed, we're going to be closing this off. Thank you to everyone, to all of the teams who have joined. Thank you for the production and ELO Hell crew that we've got. Thank you to my wonderful co-caster, Nobi. And make sure to, like, follow, subscribe. Go follow the Twitters. Go follow everyone who's doing everything. Yeah. And support all of this good Overwatch that gets organized here. And with that, we're signing off. So hope you have a wonderful night and have a great weekend.